Welcome back, race fans, for day 2 of awesome road racing going on here at Barber Vintage Festival here with AHRMA. We're just getting started with the morning program. We'll be taking a break for lunch, and then we'll have an afternoon show as well, so make sure you stick around for a great day of racing. We've got 17 races coming your way. This morning, we've got a very special guest up here in the booth, one of our racers, as well as our instructor for our road racing school. Mark Morrow is with us here this morning, who is going to be kicking off our day the right way. Take it away, Mark Morrow.
Attention there in the paddock. I'd like to start the day playing the national anthem here. So if we could ask everybody to please rise and remove your hats. Thank you. You're up, Mark. That was Mark Morrow, our very own rider school instructor, on his cornet again. Well, let's go first call. First call for race number 1, the CB160 race, sponsored by N-Cube Racing, Class C foot shift, sponsored by NC Racing and Two Fills Racing, Class C hand shift, Luke's Crafted Racing, and Novice Historic Production Weight, presented by LMP and Graphics Works. First call for race number 1. First call for race number 1.
Right.
Thanks, buddy. That was great.
We'll see you guys. I'll be out there at 9:15.
Mark Morrow's going to be heading out there.
Have fun out there, man.
Go racing. We're looking forward to another great day of racing out here. We just did our first call for our very first race of the morning, which is going to be the CB160 class, as well as foot and hand shift. And I think it's a Prati lightweight class as well. I've got the full schedule, so let's go ahead and take a little gander at it. This is today's full schedule. I had some folks requesting it yesterday, so I went ahead and threw it in here into the program so you can take a look at it. Thanks again for everybody tuning in out there live. I'm going to go double check to make sure the feed is all up and running and see who is watching with us already this morning. Bob Westbrook, thanks for tuning in. Greg Stover de French, thanks for watching. And Greg Stover says, great job, Mark. I know, right? Isn't he wonderful? So that's going to be second call for this
Attention
morning.
out there in the paddock. We're at first call for race number 1, the CB160 class. Don't forget the handlers or the holders for the bikes. We need to get you folks moving down here to the hot pit lane as quickly as possible. Again, we're at first call. First call for race number 1, and the CB160 holders for the Le Mans start. We need to get you folks down here as quickly as possible. We'll be sending you out behind Jim Corn, the race referee out there. He'll tell you where to go. Again, it's still on first call for race number 1.
So I also have a guest here this morning I wanted to chat with real quickly. I apologize, I can barely see my computer screen. Real quickly that I wanted to chat with. I've got Anthony Ban up here. Anthony, come on in here. We're going to say hey real fast.
Well, let's go. Second call for race number 1, the CB160 race, Class C foot shift, Class C hand shift, and Novice Historic Production lightweight. You folks are up in just a moment. It's second call for race number 1, CB160 Class C foot shift, Class C hand shift, and Novice Historic Production lightweight. Second call, race number 1, second call. Also holders for the CB160. We need to get you folks down here as quickly as possible so we can get you out there on the paddock. Again, second call for race number 1.
Good morning, Anthony. Thanks for jumping on the camera with us. Say hello to everybody out there on the live
everyone.
feed. If you've got anybody in Australia watching, Anthony is here from Australia racing with us this weekend.
That's right.
How stoked are you to be here at Barber?
Awesome. It's been a lifelong dream.
Really?
Yeah. To come and race in the US and in this beautiful facility, just
Awesome.
It's wonderful, isn't it? How's the AHRMA family treating you?
Oh, great. You know, like everybody couldn't be more welcoming, to be honest.
Yeah. So I know you're here also as part of Classic Superbike Tours.
Yes.
So you're here kind of quote unquote borrowing a bike-ish, as it were. I've got a picture of it on the screen right now, this beautiful Suzuki.
Yep.
How cool is that?
91 model GSXR 750. Couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I ride at home.
Oh, wonderful. How's it running?
Good. Yeah. It's you know, it's fairly stock, so the boys just wanted to make sure that I finished the weekend.
Yeah.
Rather than having a hot rod and maybe not seeing it through.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great. Good fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and saying hey, and thank you for
No
coming and
worries.
racing with us. Anthony Mann, all the way from Australia, racing in race 6 and race 10 today on this absolutely beautiful Suzuki that's on your screen right now. Again, he's here with the folks over at Classic Superbike Tours. So thank you so much. Thanks for stopping by, Fred.
All right.
Good luck. Have a great
In the
race.
paddock, let's go third and final call for race number 1, the CB160. It's an exhibition 6-lap race featuring the Le Mans start. Class C foot shift is out there, Class C hand shift, and novice historic production lightweight. Again, it's third and final call for race number 1, CB160, Class C foot shift, Class C hand shift, and novice historic production lightweight. Third and final call. Bring them on down. We'll send you out for your hot lap. Third call for race number 1.
All right, so as you just heard, Jay,
Attention,
we're heading right into our
control
racing
third
this
is gone
morning.
out.
So let's go ahead and go trackside and check out those cameras. Another beautiful day out here at Barber Vintage Festival, the 17th annual festival powered by BMW Motorrad. We are here with the AHRMA Road Racing Program, day 2 of some awesome racing today. Spectacular weather. Holy smokes, literally perfect out here. We had 17 awesome races yesterday. We have 17 more awesome races today. We've got our very special Vintage Cup happening in the middle of our day today, right after our lunch break. That is a really hotly contested race this year. Our featured race, our Vintage Cup. We're going to go right into the grids now for the CB160 Prodi Light and hand shift and foot shift classes.
As the riders take to the track for their warm-up lap, here's how they're going to grid out. For the CB160 race, sponsored by Incubed Racing on row number 1, it's bike number 220, Tim Terrell, 74, Christopher Akaiden, 215, Stuart Sanders, 222, Cindy McLean, 820, Mitchell Barnes, 35L, Jack Haynes, 171, Chris Marlowe, 49L, Lex Robb, 842, Tom Sanders, 13K, Rod Skaggs, bike number 294, John Scales, bike number 614, Mark Shaver, and 213, Rick Gould. For the Class C foot shift back on row number 15, they're sponsored by Incubed Racing and Two Phil's Racing. On row number 15, it's 1K David Tompkins, 122 Alex McLean, 53 S Scott Dellin, 24 Grant Spence. Row number 16 is 27 Bino Rodi, and 59 Gary Swan. For the Class C hand shift, sponsored by Luke's Racecrafters, back on row number 18, it's bike number 1, Tim Joyce, 81 Ralph Wessel, 244 Stephen Ortez, and 96X Joseph Miller. Row number 9, right teen, it's 75A Gary Roper, 35 Doc Batzler, and 17C Mike Baker. And for the novice historic production lightweight, sponsored by LMP and Graphics Works. Back on row number 21 is 7S Mitch Skaggs, 696 Douglas Parker, 76U Luke Sayer, 51C Cassandra Gooding. And row number 22, it's bike number 6F Frank Cotton, bike number 421S Silky Crombie, and 915 Craig Martin. And then rounding out your field on row number 23, it's bike number 426 Clint Coulon, 713 Maxon McLaughlin, and 015 Andrea Blake. That is your field and how they're going to come out here to grid up in just a moment. For the race number 1, the CB160 Le Mans exhibition race, again sponsored by Incubed Racing. This is an exhibition class open to 1960 Honda 160 4-stroke twins. These class runs fewer laps than the 9 exhibition races, and it features the unique Le Mans style start, which is popular with both riders and fans. Machines range from lightly modified to full-blown racers, and riders must enter the 200 Grand Prix Plus class to be eligible for the CB160 class. For the Class C foot shift, this is again sponsored by Two Phil's Racing with Incubed Racing. The Class C hand shift is sponsored by Luke's Racecrafters. This class is for 1951 and earlier machines. Bikes are typical of those raced in the early American Grand National Championship circuits. 500cc singles and twins can have overhead cam or push rod engines, 750V twins or side valve or flat edge engines, and use hand shift gearboxes. Battle the smaller, lighter British bikes against the heavier, more powerful American iron like Indian and Harley Davidson is what this class represents. Foot shift and hand shift classes are on the track together, but scored separately. And for the novice historic production lightweight, this is sponsored by LMP and Graphics Works. LMP Shop specializes in vintage restoration, race motor prep, vapor honing, and reclaiming vintage brakes. If you want to stop, go see them. Gemco is a 40-year-old company specializing in custom handmade vintage racing exhaust. They can produce over 40 models of exhaust systems from road racing, flat track, motocross, and off-road. They're taking exhaust orders at the rig. They can also transport vapor hone jobs. For the class itself, this is for 1978 and earlier street machines and very close to standard production trim. Minimal modifications make this an inexpensive entry-level class, which is why it's intended for novice-level riders only. This lightweight class is for 4 strokes up to 500 cc's, 252 strokes, and certain 352 strokes. That's the field here as they get ready to line up. Looks like the bikes are parking themselves over on the left-hand side of the track. Riders, of course, cross the track, standing in the grass at the edge of the track, and when the green flag waves, the riders sprint across the track, jump on their machines, fire them up, and race down towards turn number 1. Again, this is always an exciting start to watch as, again, the riders continue to file in to take their grid positions here in anticipation of this Le Mans start. There you go.
Remind them about the feed. And hey there, race fans, don't forget the live stream for the AHRMA Road Racing program is up right now. It is live this morning and the afternoon program both times, so make sure you go check it out. It is at the AHRMA official Facebook page and AHRMA Videos YouTube channel.
Hi, everybody. We're kind of running a little late today, but we're doing all right. Jackie Van Ham and Jay McMacken.
There you go.
Looks like they don't know who we are.
All right.
Looks like the riders are across the track as starters surveying the grids. All the riders are looking up there at the starter, just waiting. 2 boards up. Looks like the riders are getting ready for that sprint. Starter leans into it. Green flag, and there they go as they truck across the track themselves, jump on the bikes. Looks like it's going to be 784 Christopher Akaiden getting the jump, but here comes 220 Tim Terrell and 215 Stuart Sanders gets a rocket start from that 3rd row as he runs the field down into turn number 1. Way to go, Stuart Sanders, who was handling the trophy presentations last night. Everybody had a great time out there for that one for sure. Stuart's always a great man to handle those as the holders are finally running down the track to get out of the way, waiting for the second wave to get going here in just a moment. Meanwhile, riders for the CB160 class are already over through turns number 2, up the hill through 3 into 4. A 5-way battle up front. It's a big pack of riders crest over the hill, dropping down into that first turn over, rather not first turn, but Charlotte's Web, the first time through Charlotte's Web, as it looks like the Class C foot shift and Class C hand shift bikes cleanly away. The next up, it's going to be the novice historic production lightweights. Wait for them to go. Everybody clear from that second wave through turn number 1. Third wave now finally away as they see the first green flag themselves today, and it looks like it's going to be bike number 7S, Mitch Skaggs, getting the jump with bike number 696, Douglas Parker, right there trying to reel him in as the CB160s all the way down that back straightaway over through turns number 8 and 9 by the museum.
All right, Prodi Lightweight making their way towards Charlotte's Web right now.
Also, the starter would like to put out a big thank you to the handlers. You guys did a great job of clearing the grid today. We appreciate that. Again, thank you to the CB160 Le Mans handlers. You guys did a great job of clearing the grids.
CB160 class is at the very top of your screen, making their way over towards the final turns before start finish on that back straight. And foot and hand shift is now making their way into Charlotte Web.
Doesn't look like the race monitor's up yet. I don't have. Do you have anything on yours?
I haven't clicked it yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting it out.
Well, usually whenever they come on, it at least shows the opening grid.
Ooh, look at this drag race that's
Race
happening.
leaders down the front straightaway as they come across the start-finish line. Wow! They were almost 3 wide there. I think Christopher Caden was in the middle. Caden was there in the middle. I think it was Terrell out on the outside. I couldn't tell who the inside rider was, as it is a 3-way battle here in the opening laps of the opening race today. These guys are on. Of course, we're probably going to see that kind of racing today because this is the final race of the 2022 season. There's a lot of championships on the line. I guarantee you we're going to see some hot and heavy racing action all day today. Hopefully everybody behaves themselves because even though it is the final race of the season, we still want to make sure everybody comes back and races with us next year. So again, good to see some heavy racing action here in the opening laps of race number 1. Still waiting to get Race Monitor up and going. We'll try and get that going for those of you who are out there following it on your smartphones or on your laptops. We'll get Race Monitor up and moving here in just a moment.
right. CB160 class is at the very top of your screen, making their way towards the museum right now. And then you just watched probably some prodded lightweight making their way into turns 1.
Over an ounce. Yeah, I'll make sure I hit that more often. Attention out there in the paddock. I want to remind everybody to please make sure you check your grid positions this morning. They posted grids. Again, make sure you check your grid positions. They may not be the same as yesterday. The race numbers are going to be the same, but your grid position may not be the same. So make sure you get down and check your grid positions. We don't want to have to put any grid infractions out there. Also, for the racers, make sure you also know the row number. Yesterday, we had to do some row number breaks, and I know it confused a lot of people. So make sure
Race leaders
you
coming around
look
right
at
now.
your grid position and make sure you're in the right row. Remember, we've done some row breaks because we don't want to send 42 bikes piling into turn number 1.
Look at this drag race happening.
We just want to make sure we put some row breaks in there. So make sure you know your grid positions and make sure you know what row you're in. Looks like the race leaders back across the start-finish line. Kaiden out there still running strong. I can't quite get the number on that second place bike as they're working their way out of turn number 2 over to 3. A heck of a battle here in the opening laps of race number 1.
All right, these are race leaders in the middle of your screen right now, making their way over to Charlotte Webb.
Kaiden's out front. Looks like 784 Christopher Kaiden out front now as he's still got my mystery rider right there behind him as those duo work their way out of Charlotte's Web, and then a good battle shaping up for the 3rd place position is another pair of riders up over the crest of the hill down that back straightaway towards turn number 8 and 9 over by the museum.
Righty, this sounds like some foot and hand shift going across that start finish right
It was,
now.
yep.
It sure sounds like it. You can't miss those bikes. You can't miss that sound, right?
There goes Ralph Wessel. You can see his ponytail flying from under his helmet.
Ralph Wessel and foot and hand shift. Bye, buddy. He's headed down towards turn 1. And I've got some great onboard camera footage coming up in the show today also, just to show you how awesome this track is and that way you can orient yourself with some of these turns. And I'll throw that in here in a little while. So stay tuned. We'll have some special guests coming up here, some interviews. All sorts of fun stuff going on today here. 17 race program. It's going to be a big day. I apologize for the glare on the screen right now. The sun is directly blowing into this camera, so it's a little fuzzy, but you can get the gist of it. That's basically a shot of Charlotte's Web, which is a real area of strategery here at Barber.
Strategery.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen there. Sometimes good, sometimes a little shaky.
It's a hot and heavy passing zone.
It is a hot and heavy passing zone. Now, whether those passes stick or not, that remains to be seen sometimes, but that is what happens. Let's track down race leader. I feel like they should be making their way.
I think we might have missed him.
Oh, did they
I think they
pass?
went by. I'm not
Yeah, I
sure.
think they did too.
I don't know. Can you see if he's got the halfway flag? There, pretty sure there he goes. Yeah, Christopher Kaiden out front now. Well, is he or is he not? I think he's still racing with that person out there in second.
So Jay and I think that
They're
this is the
up over-
race leaders coming out of Charlotte's Web right
Race
now.
leaders up over through turn number 7 down that back straightaway. 84 Christopher Kaiden out there holding on to second right now. Again, still trying to find out who that top rider is. Not sure if it's 820 Mitchell Barnes or 220 Tim Terrell. There's a lot of fast riders out there. Could be 294 John Scales too. He's a real fast rider. Still trying to get Race Monitor up and going so we can get them running forward for you. For those of you that might be tuning on your phones, yes, we know Race Monitor's not working quite yet, but we're working on it right now as halfway flag should be out.
Just took another look at Race Monitor. It's not up either.
It's not working for you either. Let me see if I can get it. I couldn't get into Speed High the other day.
Oh, okay.
I was able to do them earlier this year, but when I went to My Lap Speed Hive, it didn't want to let me in. motorcycles. I don't have them.
All right, if you're just now joining us, thank you so much for tuning in. We're looking forward to a great day of racing. Tom Kraus, Tom Carouse. Thanks for tuning in. Dutch Stuyvesant, thanks for tuning in. Somebody who comes out here and sidecar races with us on occasion. Rick Allen, Paul Dean. Who else is in here? Larry
Well, looks like race
Polestina.
leaders are already seen halfway, so whatever would happen in this race, it would be considered complete as bike number 784, Christopher Kite, is still out there running a cup close to first or second with another mystery rider. Been trying to get those numbers, but I'm quite a distance up here from the racetrack. We'll try and get that going, but really a hot battle going up here for race number 1 for the CB 160 field.
Is that race leaders coming out of Charles Webb?
I think so, yeah.
I think so too.
I think so.
All right, so our belief is that these are race leaders, which is Christopher Kiten and mystery number 2, and they are making their way towards the museum right now. This middle section now is some mishmash between Proddy lightweight. A little bit of the hand shift, foot shift class kind of bumps up and gets trucking on along in here too. Those bikes are really quick.
Yeah, they are.
It always surprises me, bikes that old, at how much power they put out back then, you know?
Yep. Well, it doesn't help that the riders are usually very lightweight themselves. You get a big guy like me on there, I don't go very fast.
Stephen Hipp, thanks for tuning in. One of our familiar faces out here with AHRMA. Hey, thanks for tuning in, buddy. I haven't seen your name on our grids. You must not be here. The battling hips must not be in the house.
Wessel on his Indian thundering across the start-finish line. Leaders.
This is them.
I can't see what that second place bike is.
This is them. Race leaders right now are heading down into turn 1.
Race leaders, bike number 784, Christopher Caden, leading that one with the second place rider right there behind him. The white flag flying. So whatever's going to happen in this race, it's going to happen now as they're on their final lap, working their way over through turns 2, 3, and 4 up to the top of the hill one more time. Looks like Christopher Caden out front on this one as he's leading the field down in through Charlotte's Web on his final circuit here.
Hey, Stephen Hipp, unfortunately the battling hips are not here. We miss you too, Stephen Hipp. Battle of Twins race? Of course, Larry. There's Battle of Twins race every single race. Absolutely. So there'll be a BOT race. This is race number 1 of a 17 race day. I'm going to show the schedule here in just a minute. Got a great little battle shaping up right here in the middle part of this track. You can see it kind of towards the top of your screen right now. Some Proddy lightweight CB160 mishmash cross-class
Chasing the
battling.
paddock. Let's go first call. First call for race number 2. Sound of Thunder 2. You folks will be up in just a moment. It's first call. First call for race number 2. Sound of Thunder 2. First call for race number 2. Sound of Thunder 2. First call. Hey Sharon, is your race monitor working?
Alright, our flagger has his checkers out. This is it. Race leaders. Look at this drag race coming on down.
Checkered flag out for your race leader as the field streams by to take the checkered flag.
Alright. Very exciting right?
Nose control.
No surprise to hear the name Christopher Akaiden here an awful
We
lot.
got a pickup, right? Nope.
Very talented, very, very fast.
Attention to the paddock. Let's go second call. Second call for Sound of Thunder 2. You folks will be up here in just a moment. Second call. Second call for Sound of Thunder 2. Again, second call. Second call for Sound of Thunder 2. Second call, race number 2.
All right, we are just winding down race number 1 of a 17 race day out here. Thank you for tuning in, everybody out there on the live feed. Don't forget to hit that share button. Share this with your friends and pages. Maybe some groups that you belong to that follow motorcycle racing. They probably want to check out this awesome racing action at the absolutely stunning Barber Vintage Festival here at Barber Motorsports Park in beautiful Leeds, Alabama. I'm going to keep the camera on to let all of these last CB160 Karate Light and foot hand shift folks make their way across those checkers. And I will start changing these graphics out, and as we head into race number 2. I'm also going to take just 1 second though and click on over here. I did have a request for today's schedule, so let's flip on over to the booth cam. Hey guys, welcome back. Race 2 of an awesome race event here. Sorry, the sun is absolutely in my face. I cannot
Looks
see
like
my
my
computer.
mystery runner out there that last lap was 171. Chris Marlowe. He and 784 Christopher Akaiden were once duking it out. Looks like Akaiden took the unofficial win out there. Marlowe came in second in 35L.
There you go.
Jack Haynes rounding out your top 3 in a hard-fought CB160 race number 1 of the day. Third. Attention out there in the paddock. Let's go third call. Third and final call for our next race. Race number 2, Sound of Thunder 2. You folks are up right now if you want to bring them on up. Again, it's third call. Third and final call. Race number 2, Sound of Thunder 2. You folks are up right now. Third call. Third and final call for race number 2, Sound of Thunder 2. Bring them on up. We'll send you out for your first, for your hot lap. Third call for race number 2. What am I saying about for? I don't know. Something out there for sure.
Something's happening for sure. So yes,
it's
I had somebody peek in and ask about Battle of the Twins. We absolutely are running Battle of the Twins today. There's a Battle of the Twins race 1, which is at race 6. There's a Battle of the Twins class 2, which is race 13.
That's it.
Those are our 2 Battle of the Twins classes. But I've got the schedule on the screen right now, so take a gander at it. And I know it says 16 races, but that's actually because we kind of have a floating Vintage Cup race, which happens after lunch. So it's technically 17 races today. This year's Vintage Cup is going to be this Vintage Superbike Heavyweight. That is our featured Vintage Cup class. Hotly contested battle going on, so make sure you stick around all day long. It's literally 8 or 9 hours of racing live stream coming your way. You're not going to want to miss any of this awesome action, though.
Attention out there in the paddock as the racers take to the track. Here's how they're going to grid up for the Sound of Thunder 2, sponsored by Boulder Motorsports and Brian Sharp. On row number 1, it's 38A Arnold Hastings, 4L Drew Jancourt, 762 Shane Quigg, and 329 Matthew Crabtree. Row number 2, it's 771 Ray Hoffman, 553 Paul Canali, and 25 Frank Schoenbeck. Row number 3, it's 370 Brett Folkers, 811 Tommy Ryan, 99T Todd Murray, and 22A Mark 10. Row number 4, it's 9T Nate Kern, 60X Rob Wines, and 901 Sean Fees. Row number 5, it's bike number 11T Mark Jurasek, R73 Greg Levicki, and 46 Bob Robbins with bike number 83B Sven Blay. Row number 6, it's 9Q Jim Barker, 2P Peter Kosakis, and 647 John Wavercup. Row number 7, it's 090 Christian Miekma, 42 Scott Cuban, 802 Tristan Millard, and bike number 562 Jeremiah Walker. Row number 8, it's bike number 90, Lee Trollope, 6E Eric Burrell, and 74H Adam Mashik. Row number 9, it's going to be bike number 6T Teddy Honan, 850 Tim Nelson, 729 Jonathan Casello, and 94 Ryan Rader. Row number 10, it's bike number 97K Kevin Grimmel, 576 Christian Jensen, and bike number 15 RJ Impadron. Then in row number 11, it's bike number 9 Colton Roberts, 00009 Kyle Smith, and bike number 146 Paul Stamper. That's your field here for race number 2, the Sound of Thunder. This is sponsored by Boulder Motorsports and Brian Sharp. Since 2006, Boulder Motorsports has specialized in high-quality Ducati service and performance with one-on-one customer service. They provide knowledgeable information and comprehensive service solutions for Ducati enthusiasts and racers. Housing one of the largest and most comprehensive Ducati in parts inventories in the U.S., they cover everything from performance upgrades to simple hardware and maintenance items. The field itself, Sound of Thunder 2, is open to any of AHRMA's Sound of Singles or Motard motorcycles. Liquid-cooled twins up to 850 cc's are allowed. Unlimited air-cooled twins are also out there. And 3-cylinder machines to 675 cc's like the Triumph Speed Triple 2-strokes up to 250 cc's are also allowed. That's your field here for race number 2, the Sound of Thunder 2, as the riders come to the grid in anticipation of the start of this race in just a moment.
Thanks for tuning in, race fans. Lori Pryor Brockman, thanks for watching. Scott McRoberts, Jack Matlin, Travis Blevins, Sarah Waverka, Billy Sane, thanks for watching. And as always, you're more than welcome to jump in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We have an awful lot of AHRMA racers who could make it to this race this weekend. First of all, you got to put this on your bucket list, man. You got to come racing with us. Secondly, you know, we have some family members and things watching at home. As always, feel free to tune in, ask any questions, peek in, say hey, let us know where you're watching from. We're always kind of curious to see what's going on with you out there. Big grids out here. Big class, race number 2 for this morning. Race number 2, Sound of Thunder 2.
As the flag waves, looks like a pretty clean start as bike number 553, Paul Canale, from the middle of the center row, drives right down to the inside as the race leaders work their way through turn number 1, starting a single file out of 1 over into 2, trying to figure out who is going to lead and who's going to follow as they're through that long sweeping right hand number 2, getting up to speed. Looks like some mid-pack passing, but the leaders up front, one bike breaking away up over the crest of the hill. I'm going to bet that it's probably 4L Drew Jancourt. He had a great run yesterday as everybody packs up back from 3rd through about 8th into Charlotte's Web. Looks like they're all cleanly through the web now, back to single file as they stretch out those throttle cables, rowing up through the gearbox, building speed as they thunder down that back straightaway towards turn number 8 and over into 9. Looks like we've got race monitor up and running right now. We'll get the full running order for you when they come around to complete lap number 1 as the lead breakaway rider out of turn number 9, back up the hill over through turns number 10, waiting for him to come back into view here in just a moment.
Race leaders are starting to come into view right this second at the top of your screen.
Looks like our race leader has a substantial lead out there in the opening lap, setting a blistering opening flying lap here. Second place starting to set up a battle between those two as they all disappear over sight through the back roller coaster section through turns 13, 14, 15, waiting for him to come back into the view here on the front straightaway in just a moment.
Race leader making their way around this last final turn before front straight.
Leader out of turn number 17 at the line. Looks like it's going to be bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt. I got that one right for one. Second place battle. It's 370 Brett Folkerts and 771 Ray Hoffman. Hoffman took a good second there in this race yesterday. Today he's got Brett Folkerts on bike number 370 right there with him. So they're duking it out to see who's going to step on that, stand on that second step of the podium. Off the podium, it's 329 Matthew Crabtree and then 762 Shane Quigg round out your top 5s. 99T Todd Murray back there in 638A. Arnold Hastings in 7th. 553 Paul Canale got a great start, but he's back there in 8th now. 11T Mark Jurasek in 9th, and R73 Greg Levicki rounding out your top 10 as Drew Jancourt is wasting no time to set out and take off. Bike number 370 Brett Foker leading that last, holding on to that second, that last lap as he has bike number 771 Ray Hoffman. I'm not sure if Hoffman got around him on that lap, but those two are really dicing it out themselves as they dive over into turn number 8 and 9 over in the museum here one more time.
Race leader is over there doing a quick tour of the museum.
Yeah.
Before they head to this those last couple turns and hit that back, very, very fast back straight. Speaking of,
looks like Brett Folkert's on 370. Still
There they
has
are.
that second place with bike number 771, Ray Hoffman, just a couple of bike lengths adrift, trying to keep him honest as they're working their way back through turns 13, 14, and 15 one more time. Drew Jancourt coming out on the front straightaway in just a moment. As here he comes out of that turn number 17, across the start finish line. Looks like he's got just about a full front straightaway lead over second place riders. And here's the battle for second. It is 370. Brett Folkert still has bike number 771, Hoffman. Hoffman now gets in on the brakes, dives down to the inside. So put Hoffman up on the second step of the podium. So it's going to be 370. Brett Folkert's turn to study Hoffman's lines as they work their way through turn number 2 over into 3. Meanwhile, race leader, bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt, all the way over to turn 5 in Charlotte's Web. As here comes second place, Hoffman up there. Folkert's now just a couple of bike lengths that drift, closes in on the brakes, but here comes 329, Matthew Crabtree. He's pushing hard, a lot of laps left. He may try and reel those that battle in for second place and make it a three-way battle as Hoffman gets a great drive out of turn number 6 over the crest of the hill with Folkert's in tow. You see some action going on?
no, so there was a great pass out here coming out of Charlotte's Web, of course.
Naturally.
The location of all sorts of shenanigans.
Race leader, bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt, all the way up over through turns number 12 and 13 and 14. Wait for that battle. Here it is at 771. Ray Hoffman holding about a 3 bike length lead over Folkert's, but Folkert's closes back in through 12 over into 13. So it's still anybody's race as we haven't even hit halfway yet in this one.
All right, I'm going to creep out here on this. Oh, there we go. Last turn. This is our race leader.
Race leader, bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt's one more time out of turn number 17. Well over a full front straightaway lead on this one. Here's the battle for second as it's 771. Ray Hoffman, he has about 6 to 8 bike lengths over Folkert on that lap. Then it's a hard charging 329. Matthew Crabtree back there at 4th with bike number 99T. Todd Murray moving up a position to round out your top 5. 762. Shane Quigg slides back a position, still holding on to 6. 38A. Arnold Hastings back there in 7th. R73, Greg Levicki moving up a couple positions to 8th. Bike number 11T, Mark Jurasek back there 9th. And bike number 68, Rob Wines rounds out your top 10 as Drew Jancourt is just running away and hiding from this field. He is setting an absolutely monstrous pace out there. Full front straightaway lead, well over full front straightaway lead between that battle for second between Hoffman and Folkerts as Jancourt one more time out through the museum, turns up that back section one more time.
Yeah, Jancourt is definitely putting the thunder in Sound of Thunder too, for
Yeah.
real. Very, very quick. He had a great day out here yesterday as well.
I'd sure like to know what he's riding.
Matt Race, I'm going to throw the schedule up here as soon as we get out of this race. All right, looks like race leaders at the very top of the screen.
Halfway flags coming out for your race leader, bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt, waiting for him to work his way through that back section. As here he comes onto the front straightaway one more time. Boy, he's really putting the Sound of Thunder in that Thunder 2 bike that he's got out there as he works his way down to the turn number 1. Here's the battle for second. It looks like Folkert has seen the halfway flags and really starting to turn it up now. So looks like Brett Folkert's right on the tail section of Ray Hoffman on 771, while bike number 329, Matthew Crabtree, still hammering away, trying to chip away at the lead up the second place riders have, as Jancourt one more time over into Charlotte's Web. He's got such a great lead out there. Hoffman still has Folkert's in tow as they're up through turn number 4 over the crest of the hill. Looks like Brett closes in on the brakes within about 2 bike lengths, now 1 on the tail section of Ray Hoffman. Hoffman gets a great drive out of Charlotte's Web, gaps it out to 4 bike lengths as Folkert picking up the draft. Those two are rocketing down that back straightaway. Folkert's closing in just a bit, but the gap remains the same at 4 bikes as they disappear over through turn number 8 and 9 by the museum one more time. Halfway flags out, letting these folks know they've got 4 done and 4 left to go.
Race leaders making their way across the top of the screen right now, just hauling the mail down that back straight. Very, very fast.
They're moving, man.
They're cooking on along here for sure. They're cooking with gas, Jay.
They're cooking with something.
Maybe nitrous.
Yeah. They are definitely firing on all cylinders.
This is race leader, final turn before this front straight.
It's kind of a joke because I think these are sound of thunders. I don't know if twins are loud or if it's just thumpers. I guess it's twins. All bikes staying halfway as Drew Jancourt leads the field across the start-finish line one more time. So should something happen, it would be official. That last lap, Ray Hoffman on bike number 771 realized he had Brett Folkerts right there behind him. Turns it up a little bit on that lap since he was past halfway. Holds about 6 bike lengths over Brett Folkerts. So Folkerts probably just relaxing, trying to regroup and maybe mount a challenge here when the white flag comes out in just a couple of more laps. As bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt continues and absolutely ride on the rails as he is checked out on the field. Looks like Hoffman through Charlotte's Web. Brett Folkerts still right there within striking distance, about 6 to 8 bike lengths adrift. Looks like Hoffman gets a great drive out of Charlotte's Web down that back stretch. Folkerts still trying to hold on to the draft and doing a good job. Meanwhile, 329 Matthew Crabtree holding on to 4th, but he's got a hard-charging 99T Todd Murray trying to reel him in. Murray rounding out your top 5 as Folkerts once again now starting to work his way around some of the lap traffic over through turns 12 and 13 here in the closing laps of an exciting race number 2. Attention out there in the paddock. Want to let everybody know that 11:15 and just past the start of our lunch break later today, we will have a chapel service down in the tech area for those of you who'd like to join. Again, we'll have a chapel service at 11:15 right after the start of the lunch break down in tech, so want to keep that in mind. Here comes your race leader, bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt, across the start-finish line one more time. But it looks like he might be on cruise control because it looks like Hoffman and Folkerts are really chipping away at his lead. So I'm not sure if Drew is got a bit of an issue out there or if he's just kind of taking a breather because he was really checking out on the field. But Hoffman and Folkerts pushing each other hard, starting to try and reel him in just a little bit as here comes the battle for second as Hoffman gets around the slower back marker. Folkerts right there with him. I'm sure Brett's just hoping they can find a slower back marker. Can just check up Ray just a little bit as those two are working their way out of Charlotte's Web one more time. Halfway for white flag should be coming out next time by for your race leader, bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt, as he took off at the beginning of this one and has not looked back once. Also want to remind everybody out there, please remember to check your grid positions and know your grid positions. The race numbers are the same, but some grid positions have changed from yesterday to today. So please make sure you get down there, check your grid positions, and more importantly, know your grid positions. We had to hand out quite a few grid infractions yesterday, and we really don't want to do that, and it's not that hard, folks. Just go down there, figure out what row you're in, what race you're in, what row you're in, and where at in that row you should be. Write it down on a piece of tape, put it on your tank, and there you go. So again, please know your grids before you get out there. White flag out for race leader, bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt, as he starts his final lap. Here's the battle for second. Ray Hoffman there, but Folkerts right on his tail section as they head into turn number 1. Attention in the paddock. Let's go first call. First call for race number 3. Formula Vintage Classic 60, 650, 200 GP, and 2-stroke Classic 250 and 350. You folks will be up here in just a moment. It's first call. First call for race number 3. Formula Vintage Classic 60, 650, 200 GP, and 2-stroke 250 and 350. You guys will be up in a moment. First call for race number 3. Battle for second out of turn number 5 over to Charlotte's Web as they rock it up that hill one more time. I'm not sure Folkerts was in the lead, kind of looked like it, as Drew Jancourt really out front on this one all the way over through turn number 9 here on this final lap. Meanwhile, bike number 9T, Todd Murray, moved himself up a step on the leaderboard, running in 9th at 329. Matthew Crabtree slips back a position to round out your top 10 as bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt, all the way over through turns 13 and 14 right now. Looks like Ray Hoffman might have gotten the better of this one as they dive over in through turn 13 and 14 themselves. So not sure if Brett Folkerts had a bit of an issue or just gave it his all as 4L Drew Jancourt working his way through the final turns onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag out for your unofficial winner, bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt on this one. waiting, looking back up towards turn number 17. Here's the battle for second. It's actually going to be, oh, it is 370 Brett Folkerts. He did get around Hoffman on that one. I had those two reversed since they were on the far side. So 370 Brett Folkerts taking unofficial second with bike number 771. Ray Hoffman coming home back there unofficially in third, in a great battle for that race.
For those of you following along at home, thanks for tuning in. I can only show top 10 here on the live feed. All of this information can be found a little bit further down. Pack all the details at race-monitor.com.
Second call for race number 3. Formula Vintage Classic 6650, 200 GP, and two-stroke Classic 350 and 250. You folks will be up here in a second. It's second call. Second call for race number 3. Formula Vintage Classic 6650, 200 GP, two-stroke Classic 350 and Classic 250. You folks will be up in a second. It's second call for race number 3. Second call. Announce to control. Second's gone out. Let me know what I can do third, please. I think we got any pickups.
Alrighty. So as everybody else is making their way back across that start finish, I'm going to click on over to this guy and show you the schedule again. I had somebody request it. This is the official schedule. I think that they were asking about the 350 class. What are they looking for?
Well, two-stroke Classic 350s up now. And then you got 350 GP.
Sportsman 350, I think he was asking about, is number 9. And then they were asking about Thruxton Cup 15.
Yeah, that'll be after lunch.
Yep, I'm going to leave it on the screen. We've got 17 races today. I was trying to figure out a way to go ahead and throw this image in the comments, but I can't figure out how to do it. So I'm just going to leave it parked here for a hot second so you guys can all get a look at it. But we're just wrapping up race number 2.
While the riders are getting through the cool-down lap, I want to let everyone know the American Motor Drone Company's Wall of Death is an extreme act of motorcycle racing and death-defying stunts, and an exciting feature here at this year's Barber Vintage Festival. The first motor drones appeared right here in the United States in the early 1900s, making this traction an authentic slice of Americana. The Wall of Death is located over in the fan zone. Look for that white and red tent over there.
Hey, Matt Rice, no problem.
Attention to the paddock. Let's go third call. Third and final call for race number 3. Formula Vintage Classic 6650, 200 GP, two-stroke Classic 350, and two-stroke Classic 250. You folks will be up right now if you want to bring them on up. Again, it is third call. Third and final call for race number 3. Formula Vintage Classic 6650, 200 GP, two-stroke Classic 350, two-stroke Classic 250. It's third call for race number 3. Third call.
All right, let's go back to the track cam and change out these graphics and get ready for race number 3.
Third's going out.
Formula Vintage Classic 650, 200 Grand Prix, and the two-stroke classes.
Also want to remind everybody to remember to check out the Vintage Barber Motorsports Museum. 5 floors of exhibit space, and this weekend is one of 3 times a year. The restoration level is open to the public. Museum hours are from 8 until 5 today, so make sure you get over there and check out that great collection. As the riders get ready to take to the track here for race number 3, here's how they're going to grid up. On row number 1 for the Formula Vintage presented by Racetech, it's going to be bike number 515, Jeremy Madrill, 949, Keith Powell, 118, William Brent, and 02, Robert Ringnalda. And then row number 2, it's 162, Alan Perry, X72, Edward Barna, and 48, J. James Brown. For the Classic 60s, presented by N-Cubed Racing. On row number 4, it's 864, John Rickard, 33Q, David Tompkins, bike number 17C, Mike Baker, and 59C, Bill Gould. On row number 5, it's bike number 5, Greg Tomlinson, 731, Stan Keys, and C73, David Kaufman. Then row number 6, it's 758, Jake Hall. For the 200 Grand Prix Plus class presented by Kincaid Legacy. Back on row number 8, it's bike number 220, Tim Terrell, 784, Christopher Akiden, 215, Stuart Sanders, and 820, Mitchell Barnes. Row number 9, it's bike number 35L, Jack Haynes, 222, Cindy McLean, and bike number 6, Bill Doran. Row number 10, it's 171, Chris Marlowe, 805, Grayson Rogers, and 49L, Lex Robb, and 842, Tom Sanders. Row number 11 is 294, John Scales, 533, Hiroshi Murata, and 338, Andy Feinlings. Row number 12, it's bike number 17G, Randy Knoop, and bike number 614, Mark Shaver, 213, Rick Gould, and 57, Kevin Brown. And then for the Classic 2-Strokes 350, Back on row number 14, it's bike number 417, Michael Perry. That's your field here for race number 3. The Formula Vintage class is sponsored by Racetech Suspension. Since 1984, Racetech has been perfecting the science of motorcycle suspensions. They offer performance springs, legendary gold valves, G3-S custom shocks, TNK fork tubes, drum brake arcing, and complete suspension rebuild services for vintage and modern motorcycles. Vintage specialist Matthew Wiley will be at the track this year at several events, including the Barber Vintage Festival, to assist AHRMA racers. Racetech has been an AHRMA sponsor since 2009, and in addition to backing the competitive Formula Vintage road race class, they are also the series sponsors for AHRMA Post Vintage Motocross. Contact Matthew directly to receive the best service possible and an AHRMA members discount, or visit them on the web at www.racetech.com. The class itself is open to machines which also compete in 500 Premier, 500 Grand Prix, Formula 750, Formula 500, and Sportsman 750 classes. Additional eligible bikes for this class include the up to 1982 two-strokes from Kawasaki, Suzuki, Yamaha, and Honda's four-cylinder CB500 four-stroke is legal for this class. The fastest bikes and some of the fastest riders of all of AHRMA's vintage classes are out there. David Krussell won the 2021 championship in this class. The Classic 6650 field is presented by N-Cube Racing. This is for 1950 and 60 era 650cc overhead valve and 883 side valve, aka flathead machines. This class runs with but is scored separately from the Classic 60s machines. Popular models include Triumph and BSA 650s and the Harley K model. The 200 Grand Prix class is sponsored by Kincaid Legacy Racing. This class combines a variety of engine designs and displacements based on an index of performance. This class is for 1968 and earlier in machines, including 250 four-stroke singles and air-cooled two-stroke singles, and 175cc air-cooled four-stroke twins and air-cooled two-stroke singles and twins. This class includes purpose-built race bikes and converted production and road and off-road bikes. Bump-up class is 250 Grand Prix. Christopher Akaiden claimed the 2021 AHRMA National Championship last year. The two-stroke Classic 350 GP is sponsored by Street and Competition. This class showcases 74 to 84 purpose-built 350cc liquid-cooled two-stroke Grand Prix race bikes. And of course, the two-stroke Classic 250 is basically the same class. It's sponsored by Bill Gillis. It showcases 74 to 84 purpose-built 250cc liquid-cooled Grand Prix race bikes. That's your field here for race number 3 as the competitors line up to take the green flag start in just a moment. Well, that's a lot. As the green flag waves, bike number 1P, Jeremy Mitro, gets the jump on the field, leading him down into turn number 1 as the Formula Vintage thunder away. Looking back up the field for the rest of the field, the Grand Prix and the Classic 350 field as they all take off themselves here, rocketing down that front straightaway. Looks like bike number 35L, Jack Haynes, gets a great jump from that second row to lead the field down into turn number 1. Meanwhile, bike number 1B, Jeremy Madrill, wasting no time trying to get out front for the Formula Vintage field as he leads the pack all the way over through Charlotte's Web, now on the opening turns of lap number 1 of race number 3.
Somebody riding wide and getting...
Looks like somebody has a bit of a moment out there. Not sure if he missed his shift. Now he finally get it rolling. Oh. That's got to be a bad feeling knowing that your bike's still running, but you can't find gears. Everybody's ripping past you at the exit of Charlotte's Web, but he finally gets it rolling again as the 250 Grand Prix or 200 Grand Prix field streamed down into Charlotte's Web their first time. Meanwhile, up front, bike number 1P, Jeremy Madrill, wasted no time coming out of the museum exit turns over there through turn number 10 up through the hill. They go over past the fan zone in through turns 12 and 13.
Oh, very big lead for Jeremy Madrill up there.
Yep.
If that still is him, it's real far away. I can't see, but I think it's Jeremy Madrill, and he had a huge, substantial lead coming down that back straight. I'm going to head on over to this final turn and keep an eye out for him. He should be making his way through here in just one moment. And there he is.
Race leaders working their way through that final turn. Here he comes out onto the front straightaway. The complete lap number 1 of this 8-lap race. It is going to be bike number 1, Jeremy Madrill out front. Here's the battle for second, a three-way battle for second as it crossed the line. It's 162 Alan Perry leading this one with 02 Robert Rinaldi back there in third, and 118 William Brent off the podium in fourth with 48 James Brown rounding out your top 5. Is again 1P Jeremy Madrill. Again, setting a really fast opening lap, just putting his head down, trying to check out on the rest of the field. Running on down through the grid, or through the field right now at 9:49 Keith Powell back there at 6, 7:58 Jake Hall at 7. Bike number 5, Greg Tomlinson coming on strong. Back there in that 8th position, looks like he's running second in class right behind Hall. Hall leading for the Classic 6650. Greg Tomlinson running 8th overall, second class for the Classic 650s. He's got 7:31. Stan Keys, that's the third place for the Classic 650s. 7:31 Stan Keys holding on to 9th overall, and 8:64 John Rickard rounding out your top 10. Looks like at this moment he's holding on to 4th for the Classic 6650 is bike number 1P Jeremy Madrill for the Formula Vintage. Again, continuing to stretch out his lead, working his way over the back through the back section of the course right now on lap number 2 of an 8-lap race.
Oh, Jeremy's got some competition out there. Second and third and fourth are starting to creep up on him.
Are they? They're starting to reel him in?
Let's go keep an eye out for him.
Want to remind everybody, please make sure your transponders are on your bikes before you go out for your racing activities. I forgot to mention that after the riders meeting. Please make sure you've got your any transponders. Make sure you have your transponders on your bikes before you head out for your racing today.
Look at this.
Race leader down across the start-finish line. Actually, Jeremy Madrill's having a bit of a problem as he coasts across the start-finish line, sitting up. Looks like he's still under power, but he had a rocket start, but that would explain why the second and third place riders were catching him on that last lap. So put 162 Alan Perry up on the top step of the podium. 02 Robert McNulty there in second. 118 William Brent in third. And Jeremy Madrill on 1P drops back to fourth as it's going to be Alan Perry's turn to lead the field up over the crest of the hill. Meanwhile, it looks like 118 William Brent dives down on the inside of Rinalda, so see if that pass is going to stick. Oof. As they're still side by side. It got a little sketchy there at the exit of Charlotte's Web. She was definitely wanting to snare a couple others as Rinalda and Brent were trying to figure out who was going to lead and who was going to follow through that one. As 1P Jeremy Madrill continues to be off the pace, looking down at his bike as he's working his way down that back straightaway. Went way off the pace. Tough break for Jeremy Madrill as he had a great opening couple of laps, but his bike seems to be faltering on him. As Alan Perry's leading this one with Rinalda and Brent trying to duke it out, figure out who's going to stand on that second step of the podium. Then back through the field, 48 James Brown back there in fourth, and 949 Keith Powell rounding out your top 5 as it's 162 Alan Perry up the hill there through turns number 12 over into 13.
Race leaders are making
and
their way through.
Looking for Rinalda and Brent, but I didn't quite see them that last lap. I might have gotten off pace as they're working their way through the back section. We'll wait for them to come around here and get the running order once again.
All right, these are your race leaders hitting start-finish this front straight right now.
Here they come down the front straightaway. 162 Alan Perry has a little bit of breathing room. Then it's going to be 118 William Brent. He's worked his way up on the podium, but 02 Robert Rinaldi is still right there within striking distance as those three dive down. They close up on the brakes down through turn number 1. So technically, it's still a three-way battle for the lead as that trio work their way out of turn number 3 up the crest of the hill through turn number 4 over towards Charlotte Webb here. A halfway flag should be coming out that next time by as here comes the trio over the hill. Looks like Brent starting to reel in now. William Brent on 118 deep down on the brakes into Charlotte's Webb, working around a slower back marker. The back marker works his way out. It looks like Perry runs a bit wide. Brent takes a look up the inside, pulls the trigger. They're side by side at the crest of the hill. They're still side by side, although it looks like Perry has just a skosh more motor and just ekes out in front of William Brent with 02 Robert Rinaldi watching it all unfold right there behind him. These guys are going at it for the lead as the halfway flags are coming out next time by to let them them know they've got 4 done and 4 left to go, as Perry's got to realize he's got some competition in Brent. Not sure if he realizes Rinaldo's back there and that it's a 3-way battle for the lead as they work their way out of the museum turns. Looks like Perry now gets ahead of steam up the hill as he gets around one of the slower back markers. He still has Brent and Rinaldo right there behind him. Looks like they got a bit of a free and clear track as Rinaldo reels in Brent over through the turns 14 area and back into 15 and 16. We'll see how it shapes up when they come around to complete this next lap. Halfway flags in the starter coming up this next time by.
All right, race leader coming around this final turn, but he's got some company.
Here comes your race leader out of turn number 17. Looks like Alan Perry's turned it up a little bit. Brent still holding on to second. 0-2, Robert Rinaldo right back there in third as the halfway flags come out, letting them know they've got 4 done. They're halfway through, so they're thinking, oh my goodness, it's a hot pace and we still got 4 more laps to go. 9:49, Keith Powell back there in fourth, and 48, James Brown rounding out your top 5. 7:58, Jake Hall back there in sixth. 8:64, John Rickard up there in that 7th place. Looks like John's holding on to second. He's moved his way forward, holding on to second behind Hall for the Classic 6650. But those two came across almost nose to tail right next to each other. GT, Greg Tomlinson on bike number 5, rounding out your top 5. 7:31, Stan Keys back there in 6th, and 17C, Mike Baker round out your top 10. Looks like Baker's running by 4th or 5th back there in the Classic 60s 650 races. Alan Perry for the Vintage Formula Vintage still showing the fast way around the track with Brent and Rinaldo in tow.
As always, you're more than welcome to head on over, those of you who are following along at home, to race-monitor.com. It is up and running if you want more details a little further down the grids. I can only show the top 10 finishers here on the live feed. Scrolling through kind of disrupts the program. So feel free to head over to race-monitor.com.
I lost my leaders. Race leaders out of turn number 17. They see the halfway flags. They know it's go time. And so 162, Alan Perry starts stepping it up. He has about 10 to 12 bike lengths over second place rider 118, William Brent, who has about 3 to 4 bike lengths over 0-2, Robert Rinaldo. So everybody's seeing halfway. Whatever would happen in this race, it would be considered complete as 162, Alan Perry starting to turn up the pressure, running his second half as he's up over the crest of the hill. Meanwhile, Rinaldo sizing up Brent, trying to figure out and bide his time where and when to pull the trigger. Does he want to stay back there in third until that last lap, or does he want to move forward and put himself on the second step of the podium should something happen? That's a question I'm sure he's asking himself as he's working the draft on Rent down that back straightaway, and they both see bike number 162, Alan Perry, right there ahead of him as that trio disappears over into the museum turns one more time.
They're going to start seeing some real traffic here, though, in just a moment.
Yeah, I guess
they were creeping up on some lappers, so there's potential for it to get even more interesting out here.
Looks like some of the lap traffic may start coming into play as Alan Perry gets around one of the back markers. Then it's going to be 118, Brent's turn to get around it, but here comes Rinaldo. Rinaldo right on the tail section of Brent. 2 bike lengths separate those two as they rocket up over through turns 13 and 14. Again, coming up on some of the slower riders. Traffic's for sure going to come into play here on this one as there's a lot of bikes still in front of them as bike number 162, Alan Perry, working his way through that back section one more time, waiting for him to come on to the front straightaway and through turn 17. Here he comes, and he's got 118, William Brent, right there behind him as he gets around one of the back markers. And 0-2, Robert Rinaldo staying with him, trying to keep him inside. But here comes 9:49, Keith Powell. So Powell's charging hard here, might be able to use some of the lap track given to his advantage, make it a 3-way battle for second if Alan Perry keeps his lead. But if Alan gets checked up, everybody's so close together, it could end up being a 4-way battle for the lead. As, like I said, a lot of traffic still left in front of him. Here comes Alan Perry picking his way through some of the back markers. Then it's going to be 118 William Brent Ringnalda, and here comes a hard-charging 949 Keith Powell. He's definitely within striking distance. White flag should be coming out this next time by as Perry tiptoeing around some of the back markers manages to get 3 of them in one fell swoop down that back straightaway. Looks like Brent doing the same. Looks like Ringnalda might got checked up just a little bit as he's about 4 to 5 bike lengths adrift of Brent, and 949 Keith Powell right there as they pick their way through the traffic over through turns 8 and 9 over by the museum and coming up by the fan zone here in just a moment.
Yeah, that was such an opportunity there in Charlotte's Web. There was, 5 bikes all in that corner that were all back markers in traffic. So there was a real opportunity there for somebody to get snaggled up.
Race leader 162 Alan Perry continues to pick his way through traffic. So does 118 William Brent, 02 Robert Ringnalda, and bike number 949 Keith Powell as they're deep into the traffic over into turns 13 and 14. Waiting for him to come around just one more time. Starter has white flag in hand, so we'll see how it's going to shape up here. Waiting for the race leader to come out of turn number 17 in just a moment. Leader? No. Yes.
It's
no,
in this pack, yeah.
Leader, bike number 162, Alan Perry, making the traffic work for him as he's got a bit of breathing room. Meanwhile, 118 William Brent's there, 02 Robert Ringnalda, and here comes 949 Keith Powell. So making a 3-way battle for second as they see the white flag, letting them know this is their final lap. Attention in the paddock, it's first call. First call, Sound of Thunder 1, Formula Extreme and Formula Lightning. You folks will be up in just a moment. It's first call. First call, race number 4. First call for race number 4. Sound of Thunder 1, Formula Extreme, Formula Lightning. First call, race number 4.
All right, these are race leaders, and then
out on the track, 162
crazy
Alan
battle for
Perry
second.
out of Charlotte's Web. 118 William Brent's right there. He's got 02 Robert Ringnalda and 949 Keith Powell. So whatever's going to happen, these 3 working the draft on each other down that back straightaway into turn number 9. Looks like Powell really runs it in deep, so I think Powell might have gotten around Ringnalda for that third step on the podium as they dive down into the museum turn. Doesn't look like there's much traffic ahead of them, so we'll see how it's going to shape up as 162 Alan Perry had a decent lead that last lap, but Brent, Ringnalda, and Powell are all right there waiting for him to come into view. There goes Perry up through turn number 11 into 12. Here's the trio. It is a 3-way battle for second as I think Ringnalda just went by Brent and he's got Powell right there with him. You could have thrown a blanket over these 3 as they disappear up over the crest of the hill over in through turns 13 and 14. It's going to be exciting to see what's going to happen in that back section as we looking up through the front straightaway here through turn 17, waiting for the race leader to come on to the front straightaway here in just a moment. It should be 162 Alan Perry as he leads the field out of 17 down the front straightaway. He's going to take the unofficial win. Who's going to end up in second at the line? It is going to be 02 Robert Ringnalda, 118 William Brent, and a hard-charging 949 Keith Powell off the podium back there in that 4th place position. What an exciting finish as Perry, Ringnalda, and Brent go 1, 2, 3 for the Formula Vintage.
The purple highlight tells you that Keith Powell, who clearly meant business on this last lap, was the fastest lap. And he was really trying to get up there.
Let's go second call. Second call for Sound of Thunder 1, Formula Extreme, and Formula Lightning. You folks are up right now. It is second call. Second call for race number 4. Sound of Thunder 1, Formula Extreme, Formula Lightning. Second call for race number 4. Second call. Yeah, Jack, you're absolutely right. Powell was really charging hard on that one, really putting his head down, but unfortunately comes up just a bit short.
Yeah.
Made his move just a little bit. Boy, he put a heck of a move on Ringnalda over there at the top of turn number 8 before they disappeared out of sight. That was an exciting battle.
That was a great, great battle. We've got more folks tuning in. Kenneth LaRock says, "Wah, I wish we were there." I know you are missed, but thanks for tuning into the live feed. We appreciate it. Feel free to share this with your friends or any of your motorcycle pages that you are a member of. Randy Hoffman, a familiar name out here in AHRMA. Yep. Hey, welcome to the show, Randy Hoffman. Thanks for tuning in. John C. Riley, thank you for watching. Doug Wrights and Amy Jacks, thanks for tuning in. GT Greg Tomlinson just crossing that start-finish line, getting those checkers out there. GT! GT might be joining us up here in the booth. He's always super fun to chat with.
He said he was going to. I talked to him yesterday at the trophy presentation, kind of busted on him a little bit. So we're doing motocross. He was running the off-road stuff today. So hopefully, I think he said he wasn't going to do that today. So hopefully we can get up. And he's always an entertaining person to interview up here for sure.
Yeah, GT is always super, super fun to chat with. He is one of the handful of racers they're holding this kind of unofficial competition within a competition where they are doing their own like mini Grand National Championship type event where they do dirt and road all in one weekend. Again, it's kind of like an unofficial race series within the AHRMA race series, but he's doing that. So he likes to do all the races on these weekends when dirt and road are together. So this is the schedule. Take another gander at it, and we're going to be heading into race number 4. 4 races already this morning before lunch. So we're going to be heading into race number 4. As always, thanks for tuning in. I am following along here on my digital devices so I can peek in and see you guys if you have any questions or want to say hey. We always love hearing from you. Jim McGrath, thanks again for the live coverage today. You're very welcome, Mr. Jim McGrath. Thanks for tuning in. And then let's go ahead and go back down trackside and throw those graphics back up.
Oh, we had one over in
Do we have a pickup?
off the inside.
Was there a pickup, Jay?
Yeah, I didn't realize it. They just put this one across the track. There he goes. He's up through Charlotte's Web. We still on the cool down lap, so they should be giving us third call here in just a moment.
Okay, so it sounds like
Thanks.
we're going to
Let's
have
go.
just a hot second.
Attention out there in the paddock. Let's go third call. Third and final call for Sound of Thunder 1, Formula Extreme and Formula Lightning. If you folks want to bring them on up, we'll send you out for your hot lap right now. Again, it is third call. Third and final call for Sound of Thunder 1, presented by Erico Motorsports, Formula Extreme, sponsored by Team Power Sports and Sev Aldman, and Formula Lightning, presented by Peter Nicolosi. If you folks want to bring them on up right now, we'll send you out for your hot lap. Again, it is third call, third and final call for race number 4, Sound of Thunder 1, Formula Extreme and Formula Lightning. Bring them on up, third call.
Sound of Thunder 1, the Big Thunder class. So this will be all the fast bikes out here in Thunder. This is always a great race. Very, very fast, but not to be outdone by these very, very fast e-bikes that are out
I
here.
found that interesting. Sound of Thunder 1, the Big Thunder bikes, along with the e-bikes, one of the most quietest classes we have.
Well, it lets it really celebrate the sound of the Thunder bikes because there's no other competitive noise.
That's true.
So maybe it's by design. I'm not really sure, but that being said, the e-bike class is very fast. In case you were not aware, that's right, gang, we have e-bike classes out here too. While the name historic is in our name, American Historical Racing Motorcycle Association, AHRMA, we also have very, very modern bike classes. So if you would like to figure out how you can come racing with us, which you should, because we have a heck of a good time out here, make your way over to AHRMA.org for all of our class rules and all that good stuff, and find out how you can come racing with us.
As the bikes take to the track for their warm-up lap, here's how they're going to grid up for Sound of Thunder 1, presented by Erico Motorsports. Row number 1, 38A Arnold Hastings, 4L Drew Jancourt, 77L Patrick Lansu, and 329 Matthew Crabtree. Row number 2, it's 13X Steve Metz, 21K Greg Avello, 222R Jeff Graham. Row number 3, it's 771 Ray Hoffman, 9Q Jim Barker, 090 Christian Meekma, and 68R Craig Grantham. Row number 4, it's 4X Ervin Kolek, 60X Rob Wines, and 370 Brett Volkerts. Row number 5, it's bike number 99T Todd Murray, 46 Bob Robbins, 2P Peter Kosakis, and bike number 850 Tim Nelson. Row number 6, it's 802 Tristan Millard, and 811T Mark Jurasek, and 9T Nate Kern. Row number 7, it's bike number 15R J.M. Patterin, and 491 Brian Surtees. For the Formula Extreme, presented by Team Motorsports and Sev Aldman. Row number 9, it's 447 Peter Nicolosi. And for the Formula Lightning, presented by Peter Nicolosi, on row number 11, it's bike number 690 Bob Rebecco, and 91 Sean Smith. That's your field here for race number 4. The Sound of Thunder 1 being sponsored by Erico Motorsports. They're our Triumph, Ducati, Moto Guzzi, and Vespa dealership located in the heart of downtown Denver, Colorado. Celebrating 3 decades of serving the motorcycle community, Erico Motorsports is exciting, exotic, and European. When in Denver, be sure to visit and check out their vintage motorcycle collection on display. Wearing the number 66, John Beldak can be seen racing his Erico Motorsports Triumph Moto 2 Daytona at the AHRMA events. Some of the biggest, fastest bikes in AHRMA road racing are out there. Unlimited displacement, 4-stroke singles, twins, and triples make up this class. Also open to AHRMA's open 2-stroke bikes, and even rotary engines can be seen out there. For the Formula Lightning Extreme, sponsored by Team Power Sports and Sev Aldman, This is open to bikes with unlimited voltage, and for the Formula Lightning, sponsored by Peter Nicolosi, all-electric motorcycles feature the latest technology with powertrains similar to the Nissan Leaf, the Tesla Model S, and the electric portion of the Chevy Volt. Speeds are similar to race-prepped 600cc gasoline-powered bikes, open to production bikes up to 125 volts. Production race bikes are available from manufacturers such as Zero and Bramo. Curtis Comer was the 2021 national champion in this class. That's how the field shapes up as they're coming around to take their grid positions, waiting for the green flag in just a moment. It's not here anymore. The official word was it got hit by lightning.
Gotcha.
We
had somebody peek in and ask if we stream the PA, or I guess stream is the right word for it. But you can. Yeah. So the PA announcing does come into this live feed, so you can just throw your earbuds in and listen along if you're having a hard time hearing the PA. Also, they used to have an FM channel. A lot of racetracks do that directly link to the PA system. They do not here. So the only way you're going to get the PA in your ears directly is here on the live feed, and put your earbuds in. Let your friends know. Spread the word. The live feed is here on the AHRMA official Facebook page and the AHRMA videos page on YouTube.
Two boards up as Ed Barger, starter, leans into it and throws the white or green flag, letting them know to go. And no surprise, bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt, leading the Thunder bikes down in through turn number 1. Here's something that's great to listen to, the start of the e-bikes.
Ooh, with a little wheelie.
And there they go. That is so cool to listen to those e-bikes take off in the start as Drew Jancourt wasting no time. And I believe he's got, it's not Hastings behind him. Can't quite make it out from here, but we'll get the full running order in just a moment when they come around to complete lap number 1. I have got to step away. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to hit that table.
All right, race leaders up at the top of your screen right now, making their way over towards the museum for a super quick tour of the museum back there. Speaking of, the museum is open today until 5 p.m. here at Barber Motorsports Park. If you have not had a chance to check out the museum, woo! Give yourself an entire day to do so, because it is 5 stories of awesomeness. Race leaders are now making their way across the top of your screen right now. The backside of the track, that huge, very fast, long straight on the backside of the track before the last handful of turns and before they pop back out here on this front straight. I have a really great onboard camera video that I'm going to be throwing up here as soon as we've got a little bit of time, so you can also familiarize yourself with the layout of the Barber track and experience it a little bit for yourself from the comfort of your own home. Race leaders making quick work of that first lap, popping back out in the middle of your screen. That is our race leaders making their way over to Charlotte's Web. Single file they go through carefully. That Sound of Thunder 1 freight train heading back up the hill as this second group in Sound of Thunder now is making their way through Charlotte Web. Let's go track down race leader again at the top of your screen, already at the museum, making quick work of this road course out here today. Beautiful Barber Motorsports Park in Leeds, Alabama. Race leader currently at the top of your screen right now. That is the backside of the track. A very, very fast, I call it a straight, but it's technically not a straight. It's got a couple little kinks on it, but it is very, very quick and mostly straight. There's just a handful of little leans that happen back there. And here is the final turn before they make their way back home. Drew Jancourt in 1, Ray Hoffman 2. Crabtree, Metz, Lansue, Hastings, and on down. I can only show the top 10 finishers of all classes. Here on the live feed, for all of the more down-grid details, you can head over to race-monitor.com. Race leaders now working their way through Charlotte's Web. Jancourt giving himself a little bit more breathing room out there, but look at this battle that's really happening a little bit further down pack, a little bit closer to positions 3, 4, and 5. Very racy, very dicey out there. Race leaders are now headed over to the museum.
Out there on the track, not surprising, bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt leading this one. He has 170 or 771. Ray Hoffman right there behind him at 329. Matthew Crabtree rounding out your top 3. 13X Steve Metz back there in 4th, and 77L Patrick Lansu rounding out your top 5. Back in that 6th place position, you find 38A Arnold Hastings. 370 Brett Folkers back there in 7th. 60X Rob Wyant in 8th. 99T Todd Murray back there in 9th, and bike number 11T Mark Jurasek rounding out your top 10 as Drew Jancourt once again showing the fast way around this track to the field.
Jancourt stretching out his lead, though. I think he is just straight up out biking his competition. It seems like on these straights, he really is able to just pull away.
Looks like Jancourt has about a half a front straightaway lead over Hoffman, who has about a full front straightaway lead over 2nd place or 3rd place battles, and that is bike number 13X Steve Metz working his way forward. Patrick Lansu back there in 4th, and 370 Brett Folkers. So 329 Matthew Crabtree, not sure if he had a bit of a moment out there, but he seems to be moving down the leaderboard. Nope, he's all the way back down there in 7th. So 13X Steve Metz holding on to that 3rd place position. Looks like he had 77L Patrick Lansu. Those guys are duking it out for that last step of the podium as they head down into Charlotte's Web one more time.
Drew Jancourt absolutely smooth sailing out there and is increasing his lead lap after lap. Not a huge surprise. Jancourt's having a great weekend out here. Very, very fast.
He came to race today. He came to win today.
He came to win today. Yeah, yesterday was maybe coming to race. Today is coming here to win. It is the final race of the final race weekend of our season here at AHRMA. So it's a little bit of all the marbles feeling. It's everybody's really gonna let it hang out today at the very last day, the last Sunday.
Yes, they are.
Race leaders should be making their way through this last turn here in just a moment. I'm gonna go ahead and creep and wait for Jancourt to pop on out. This looks like him.
Bike number 4L, Drew Jancourt out of turn number 17 on rails one more time. Looks like he's managed to get himself a full front straightaway lead over 2nd place rider bike number 771 Hoffman. Here comes the battle for 3rd as it's bike number 13X Steve Metz flashing by some of the e-bikes working their way through, and he's got 77L Patrick Lansu right there in tow. Halfway flags out for these two all this field, so let them know they've got 404 left to go. So I'm sure Lansu's been studying Metz's lines, trying to figure out where and when to make his move as Jancourt leads Hoffman. Then the battle for 3rd as Metz has Lansu right there behind him. Lansu closing in on the brakes as they dive down into Charlotte's Web. Just a bike length of 2 separate them two. As here comes Lansu trying to work on the outside, but it looks like Metz lets it slide wide, and Lansu checks up just a little bit, thinks the better, but I think Patrick's out there just stalking Steve Metz on 13X as they work their way down through turn number 8 over into 9. I'm sure Lansu's waiting to make a pounce and make that move here in just a couple of more laps as the leader, Drew Jancourt on 4L, continues to run away from the field.
Jancourt coming back out from the museum right now on that big back straight. High, wide, and handsome, as they say in dirt track racing.
I think he's skinny and tucked in behind the fairing on this one.
That is no judgment on our dirt track racers. Here we go, Jancourt.
Race leader across the start-finish line one more time, as so everybody's seen halfway, so should something happen, this race would be official. Second across the line, 77 Hoffman. Here's the battle for 3rd. 13X Steve Metz still leading 77L Patrick Lansu, but Lansu's still right there within striking distance, just kind of hanging out back there, counting off the laps, running a great pace, waiting for that white flag to come out. Bike number 38A, Arnold Hastings rounding out your top 5. 370 Brett Folkers back there in 6th. 329 Matthew Crabtree in 7th. 60X, Rob Wines back there in 8th. Bike number 99T, Todd Murphy in 9th. And 11T, Mark Jurasek rounding out your top 10 as that battle for 3rd between Metz and Lansu out of Charlotte's Web over the crest of the hill through 6, back down, or 7 rather, back down that straightaway. Looks like Metz gets a pretty good drive that time. Kind of gapped out on Lansu just a little bit, about 6 to 8 bike lengths separated those two, but I'm sure Lansu will close it back up as they're working their way over through the museum turn. Meanwhile, Drew Jancard, our race leader, again on rails, setting a ferocious pace, working his way over through turns 12, 13, and 14 right now.
Yeah, Lansu and Metz, I believe, came across like neck and neck, like wheels matching on this last lap. So, race leader is headed down the backside of the track right now, working their way through the last handful of turns. That is Jancord still in 1.
Jancord once again across the start-finish line has opened up more than a full front straightaway lead over second place rider 771 Hoffman. Here comes Hoffman out. He's only got about a half a front straightaway lead over the second or third place riders Metz and Lansu. So Metz and Lansu pushing each other hard and are starting to maybe reel in Hoffman. Hoffman needs to make sure he gets on his horse and turn it up just a little bit. He's solidly there in second, but with the way this battle for third is shaping up, it may be a three-way battle for a second if he's not careful. Meanwhile, Drew Jancord down in the braking zone for Charlotte's Web. White flag should be coming out from him next time by. Here comes the battle for third as Lansu's right on the tail section of Metz, and they have Hoffman in sight. Hoffman's not got that much of a lead as they come out of turn number 7 over the crest of the hill. Looks like Lansu gets a better drive this time, holding on to the draft of Metz as they're trying to reel in Hoffman down through turn number 8. Meanwhile, Drew Jancord out of turn number 10 over to 11 and 12. He is massively in the lead out here, just flying as he works his way around some of the lap traffic. So we'll see if lap traffic's going to come into play for that third place position here in the next couple of laps. Starter has white flag in hand, waiting for them to come around in just a moment.
It's the last Sunday race, Ray. You got to turn it up.
It's go time.
It's go time, it's show time, and it's absolutely rock and roll time.
Race leader across the start-finish line. White flag out for Drew Jancord, letting him know he's got one more lap to go. Here comes second place rider 771 Ray Hoffman. Here's the battle for third as it looks like Lansu made his move on that one. Rockets past Steve Metz at 13X, now sets his sights on Hoffman. So it could be a battle for second here shaping up. Attention to the paddock. Let's go first call. First call for race number 5, the Sidecars. You folks will be up in just a moment. First call for race number 5, the Sidecars. First call for race number 5. The battle for second is on as Ray Hoffman has it, but Patrick Lansu on 77L right there. Just 3 to 4 bike lengths adrift as they're out of that last turn, or rather set turn number 7 up the hill with bike number 13X. Steve Metz kind of fading a little bit. Lansu really turning it on this lap. He's got the 771 Ray Hoffman in his sights. Meanwhile, 4L Drew Jancord solidly in the lead as he's motoring up through traffic over through turns 12, 13, and 14. Waiting to see how the battle for second is between Hoffman and Lansu as they're working their way past the museum here in this final turn up the hill. There's Lansu. He's 2 bike lengths adrift of Hoffman. So Lansu really turning it on strong here. Now right on the tail section of Ray Hoffman on 771 as they disappear out of sight up over the crest of the hill through turns 13 and 14 they go. Who's it going to be? Waiting for him to come around through turns 14, 15, and 16 in just a moment. Meanwhile, checkered flag out for the unofficial winner, bike number 4L, Drew Jancord, as he gets around some lap traffic looking towards 17. Here comes the battle for second out of that final turn down the start-finish line. Oh, Lansu was trying on 77L, running really hard, but doesn't quite pull it off as Ray Hoffman barely hangs on, and I mean by his fingernails, on to second place. The 77 Patrick Lansu threw everything he had out of that last lap and comes up about a half a bike length short. Third there in that third place position.
Yeah, Patrick Lansu.
What a race.
Patrick Lansu decided to quit playing with Steve Metz and turn it all the way up.
Let's go second call. Second call for race number 5, Sidecars. You folks are up in just a moment. It's second call. Second call for race number 5, the Sidecars. Second call for race number 5. That was incredible,
That
man.
was a great
I don't know if you
race.
haven't noticed too, Patrick Lance, who threw it in so fast, he almost lost it in one trying to get slowed down. He went way wide, and I've seen that happen before. Guys just throw everything they have out of the start-finish line and then come into turn one, and it's a big wide-eyed, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it's a surprise moment.
Man, what a race. That was great.
No, I didn't catch it. I was keeping the cameras forward, but you're right. I love clicking over to one if I've got a second to see what's happening down there, because you're right. Sometimes they come in real spicy, and don't realize how quick that turn one was.
Oh, yeah. It comes up real fast when you're full-on honking the line.
Yeah, it's kind of a surprise for sure.
Yeah. They probably could have moved the start-finish line about another 40, 50 feet up the track.
Okay. So Sidecars sometimes takes a hot second to going out here. Do you mind if I announce again that
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
going to let people know about the live feed?
Go ahead. You're hot.
Attention in the paddock, attention in the paddock. Hey race fans, just a reminder, the live feed for the AHRMA road racing program is up right now. We are up and running, so do check it out. It's on AHRMA official Facebook page and AHRMA Videos YouTube page. This is also an excellent way to hear the PA announcing. This is a great way to catch all of the commentary. Turn it on and just throw your earbuds in, and you can hear the PA more clearly because I announced that and I put that over the broadcast as well. Again, that feed can be found at the AHRMA official Facebook page and the AHRMA Videos YouTube page.
Somebody wants to scrub on a sidecar race?
I'm sorry, what? Okay, let's... Where is everybody? There we go. There's our graphics. Okay, so we are at the sidecar class. This is race number 5. Exciting race morning so far, right, Jay? Oh my
yes,
gosh.
It has been.
I think we are right. I think we nailed it right on the head. Everybody is realizing that this is the final race of the season. This is it. It is go time. It is rock and roll time out here. Thank you to everybody for tuning in and watching the live feed. We appreciate you. Stephen Jancord tuned in. Hey, Stephen Jancord, thanks for tuning in. Heidi Wright, Judy Boyven, Russell Jordan is tuning in. Robert Martinez, thanks for watching. I also have Megan Walsh, Stacy Gamble, Niche Cycle Supply. Thanks for tuning in, Niche Cycle Supply, and for being one of our sponsors.
Yes, thank you for the sponsorship.
Dan Hockett, thanks for watching. Stacer Steve O. Monica is watching. Thanks for tuning in. Robert Culbertson, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the good comments. Thanks for the feedback. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I recognize a lot of these last names, so this sounds like some family members of some of the folks that are racing with us.
Well, let's go third call. Third and final call for race number 5, the Sidecars. You folks are up right now. This is always a fan favorite for anybody over in the fan zone. Want to make your way over here to the hill to watch this race. It is third call. Third and final call for the Sidecars. You folks are up right now. If you want to bring them on up, we'll send you out for your hot lap. Again, it's third call. Third and final call for your Sidecars. You guys are up right now. Third call for the Sidecars.
Are they going to do the scrub lap?
No, they already sent the scrub.
Thanks.
Well, this is nice. This time they just took away the pass.
All right, third call for our sidecar class. This is all sidecars. This is a combined race. This is everybody on 3 wheels. And we do have a lot of 2-wheeled racers racing in the sidecar class also, or back and forth, however you want to phrase it, which is pretty cool.
Had some of the 2-wheel racers actually be the passengers on sidecars.
Yeah, it's really neat.
As the sidecar racers take to the track, here's how they're going to grid up. On row number 1, bike number 14, SC, Peter Essef at the controls. Bike number 8, NZ, Tony Dukas right there next to him. Then in the row number 2, it's bike number 803, Tina Green Hewitt at the controls of that rig. For the modern sidecars USF2, back on row number 4, it's the rig of X82, piloted by Eric Trosper. For the modern sidecar USF1, on row number 6 and 64B, Bill Wilmeroth, and bike number 21C, Bernard Euclid. Then for the classic SC4 field, back on row number 8, it's bike number 534, Jeffrey Dixon, and W13, Warren Wilson. In row number 9 for that field, it's X48, Paul Kohler. Then for the Lost Era sidecar, back on row number 14, it's the rig of 981, Timothy O'Brien, and 48 SC, Stephen Artez. Then in row number 12, it's the rig of S46, Dale Lavender, and 96, Brian Woods. Then for the Super Vintage SC2, back on row number 14, it's the rig of bike number 1, Jim Joyce, and bike number 46, X, Brian Rammer. Then in row number 15, it's 93, Daniel May, and 71R, Ben Sloter. Then in row number 16, it's 42S, Silky Crombie, and 169, Brian P. Hanna II. Then for the Vintage Sidecar SC1, back on row number 18, it's the rig of 10P, Michael Platt. And then for the classic Big Wheel, back on row number 20, it's bike number 47S, Dutch Stuyvesant. That's your field here for the sidecar race, race number 5. AHRMA is the premier sidecar organization in North America, hosting more sidecar races and racers than any other North American organization. Over 50 sidecar teams have raced with AHRMA in 2021 across 22 races from coast to coast. There are both vintage and modern classes, each having their own unique characteristics. In the vintage class, you'll see both left and right side chairs. Right side chairs favor left-hand turns, counterclockwise tracks, and the opposite is true for left side chairs. With mixed chair outfits on the track, you'll see a lot of passing as the speeds change dramatically between left and right-hand corners. Skinny tires on the vintage rigs equate to drifting and sliding, where a modern rig will perform more like a Formula One car because of their wider tires. The modern classes run sleek, spaceship-like outfits with modern 600 and 1000cc four-stroke engines. The outfits are purpose-built and resemble more of a modern race car than a motorcycle. Teamwork is obviously vital, and for the passenger and rider, they must work together, and particularly for the passenger, it's very physical work. A strong body core is essential for the passengers. Low center of gravity is essential for cornering, along with the passenger transferring weight to the proper position. For the classes themselves, the SC1 vintage sidecars, this is vintage front exit outfits built prior to 1968. Engines are air-cooled, 2 strokes up to 350 and 4 strokes up to 650. Wheels must be spoked and at least 15 inches and tires can be no wider than 4.5 inches. The SC2 Super Vintage Sidecar, by far the most popular class. These are vintage front exit rigs built up to 1972. Engines are air-cooled, 2 strokes up to 500 cc's and 4 strokes up to 750 cc's. Popular examples include the BMW R75, the XS650 from Yamaha, and Moto Guzzi 750 powered rigs. Like SC1, these rigs run the skinny type tires. The SC3s, which stands for Lost Era sidecars, these are front or rear exit builds up to 1977. 2 strokes engine up to 500 cc's and 4 strokes up to 847 are legal for this class. Looks like the field's gridding up out there. We'll get the start going here and then go on through the rest of the field or the rest of the information in just a moment. Looks like bike number 1, Pete Essef and his passenger there on pole. He just got married this past weekend to his wife Ann. They had their ceremony here on the start-finish line this past Friday after practice as they're waiting to take the green flag in just a moment. He took the win yesterday. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it again today. As the starter leans into it, green flag waves, and there they go. Looks like Tony Dukas on 8NC got a good start, but here comes Pete Essef, and it looks like the rig of Greenfield Hewitt back there, starting in row number 2, works their way forward as the rest of the field thunders down the front straightaway to make it through turn number 1 over into turn number 2. For the SC4, these are Formula Classic sidecars. They are front or rear exit outfits built up to 1981, and a variety of power plants up to 1300 cc's are legal on these rigs. The SC4, which is the Formula Classic sidecars, these are front or rear exit engines. Oops, sorry, read that one already. Bears, which stands for the big wheel sidecars, these have a minimum of 17-inch wheel requirements. The rigs are based on the Bears class motorcycles with relatively stock components and no streamlining. For the modern class, the USF 1 and F2 are 1000cc based power plants. F1 has the long wheelbase, F2 has the short wheelbase. For the TT1 and the TT2, same thing happens. It's a 600cc power plant built to FIM rules. The TT1 has a long wheelbase and the TT2 has a short wheelbase. For the sponsorships, it looks like the modern sidecar TT2 is sponsored by Jessup Enterprises. Jim Essef of Jessup Enterprises says that as he got older, the aches and pains grew, so a couple of years ago he started using CBD products. CTFO has many CBD and non-CBD related products available and performs third-party testing, so you know what's on the label is also what's in the product. These are law enforcement tested, no THC. So racing and CBD are a perfect fit. You can relieve the pain without affecting the brain. Become a preferred customer at www.jess-cbd.com or see them at the track. For the modern Sidecar USF2, this is sponsored by Pink Power. Modern Sidecar USF1 is sponsored by Barnett Clutches and Cables. The Formula Classic SC4 is sponsored by Ton Up North Carolina. This is a nonprofit organization promoting the riding, racing, and restoration of vintage motorcycles through education and outreach. The Lost Era Sidecars, which is SC3, sponsored by Brave Bull Racing. The Super Vintage, which is SC2, is sponsored by Classic Motorcycle Racing Foundation. The Classic Motorcycle Racing Foundation promotes the exhibition and preservation of vintage motorcycles and vintage motorcycle racing. The foundation supports education-related activities that emphasize the mechanical history and evolution of motorcycling and its impact on society. Vintage Sidecar 1 is sponsored by SBR and Dutch Stuyvesant and Bob Rebecco, and the Classic Big Wheel Field is sponsored by Madras and Fubar. Madras Racing is a family-based team out of Katanning, Pennsylvania, committed to the excitement of entry-level sidecar racing. The Fubar Garage is a family-oriented garage owned by Jim Fensel, located in Powell, Pennsylvania, and is dedicated to providing quality mechanical services at an affordable cost. That's your field, or rather the information for the sidecars. Out on the field that last lap, or lap number 1, it was 8NZ, the team of Tony Dukas and Dukas, leading 14SC Peter Esseff and his passenger Lenzer, and then the third place position belongs to 21SC Bernard Euclid and Kautsky out there as the passenger running out the top 3. Let me put the passengers on there. Attention to the paddock. Race results up through race 4 have been posted. Again, race results up through race 4 are posted. We want to encourage everybody, please make sure you check your finishing positions. You have a half an hour protest period after they're posted. So please make sure you get up there and check your grid positions. It's rare, but occasionally we'll have a glitch where somebody doesn't show up on the finish position where they want or they're supposed to, and they come to us 3 or 4 hours later and go, hey, you don't have the results for race 2 done, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and of course race 2 happened at 9 o'clock that morning. So please make sure you get down, check your finishing positions. They're posted as quickly as we can after the conclusion of the race. You have a half an hour protest period after that. The results are final. So please make sure you not only check your grid positions, you check your finishing results. Well, looks like the rig of 21SC, Euclid and Katsky are really coming on strong. That last lap, leading for their field. Then it's 8NZ Tony Dukas out there, second overall, and 14 Pete Esseff running that third place position. I think Dukas leading in his class over Esseff. Then bike number 1, Joyce and Schulke back there rounding in that 4th place position. It looks like they're leading for the SC2 class. And then bike number 64B, Wilmeroff and Richards rounding out the top 5. Excuse me.
Paul Kohler and Andrea Blake in 6. Andrea Blake joining us also racing, both of them racing 2 wheels also occasionally and 3 wheels. So welcome to them. Daniel May and Craig Chawla, some of my friends from Chicago who race with us pretty regularly, and Eric Trosper and his lovely wife Celia are also out here racing. It's a family affair.
It always is.
Always significant others. There's a lot of father and son teams. I've seen father and daughter teams.
Yeah, I've seen husband and wife teams.
I believe Dale Lavender and Lavender, I think, is a father and daughter team, or at least used to be. I don't know who's passengers this season. Dale Lavender, hello, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a hot minute.
Looks like Terry Korn, the wife of our referee, Jim Korn, she's a passenger with Jeffrey Dixon on 534. They're running in the top 10 themselves out there.
Oh, that's cool.
Glad to see some of the Canadian rigs possibly making it down this year. I know last year they were really bummed that they couldn't get down here because of the COVID restrictions. I know those have been lifted, so
yeah, this is a really big grid this year, which is awesome.
That is nice.
It's what we usually have here. AHRMA is a really natural home, natural fit for sidecar racing, and we usually have pretty big grids.
Race leader in bike number 21SC, Euclid and Kautsky across the start-finish line. It looks like bike number 1, Peter Esseff, using some of the lap traffic to his advantage, working his way up to the leaderboard, top of the leaderboard there. for himself as he crosses the start-finish line second. Wilmeroth coming in across there third. So Wilmeroth and Richards working their way for Dukas, and Dukas drops back. I believe second in class, fourth overall, and then it looks like bike number 1, Tim Joyce and Schulke still rounding out your top 5. X48, Paul Kohler and Andrea Blake back there in that 6th place position. 7th belongs at this moment to 93, Daniel May and Chihuahua as the passenger. They're running for the SC2 class. 8th at the moment is bike number 46X, Brian Rammer and Rammer. They're holding on to that 8th place position. 534, Jeffrey Dixon and Terry Korn moving up a position to round out the top 9 out there. And X82, Eric Trosper, and Trosper is the passenger, rounding out your top 10. And the halfway flag should be coming out next time by, letting them know they've got 4 done and 4 left to go. As Bernard Euclid leads Kautsky, but Essef and Lenser really starting to turn it up here on this last lap, trying to reel them in and make it a race.
Somebody went wide in Charlotte's Web. They're back on track though. They're just doing a little off-road excursion, just kind of checking out some of the landscaping.
Doing a little
but
bit of
they're
grass
fine.
maintenance.
They're fine. They thought they saw a 10mm socket out there. I don't blame you. I know, I'd go pick it up too.
Who was the passenger we lost yesterday? Is she back out there?
It's the Trosper. So
was it the
Celia
Trosper?
Trosper slipped off one of the rigs yesterday. She's totally fine. I texted her immediately after. She was fine, just was a little oopsie daisy.
Yeah.
They're racing back out there racing today. So all good news.
I would not want to fall off a sidecar no matter how slow you're going. Just
Well, you're not as tough as Celia.
Just doesn't sound as like fun. Bike number 21 SE, Euclid and Kautsky are leading, but here comes Peter Essef and Lenser putting their head down right on their tail section as they cross that start-finish line, seeing the halfway flags, letting them know they got 4 done and 4 left to go. Next across the line, it's going to be the rig of Wilmeroth and Richards as they're holding on to 3rd overall with Joyce and Schulke, and Schulke back there in that 4th place. Although I don't know if Tim Joyce has his normal passenger. I don't think we found that out yesterday, didn't we?
Oh yeah,
they had a different passenger on
Renee
there.
Becky. Renee Becky.
And then bike number 8NZ, Tony Dukas, and Dukas still rounding out the top 5 as Essef sets his sights on the team of Euclid and Kautsky, working their way out of 7 down that back straightaway one more time.
All right, I'm going to keep an eye on Charlotte's Web because this likes to snaggle people up a little bit, and I imagine it's even tougher to navigate on 3 wheels. So I'm going to go ahead and just hang out here for a second. Let everybody get on through.
Got a big pack coming across start-finish line now, don't they?
Yep. Some of the more vintage-styled sidecars.
Did you happen to notice on the parade laps yesterday at the end of the day that green rig that just went by? I couldn't catch the number on it.
Yeah.
They actually went out for the parade laps.
I did catch it because I totally cracked up and I was like, oh, I wish I would have known. I would have jumped in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that was an option. So yeah, here at Barber we do parade laps. There's actually multiple organizations that host parade laps here. They're usually for charity or a fundraiser for the museum or an ownership group like BMW invited their owners to partake in one of the parade laps. Anyway, the whole point of what I'm getting at is it's a really cool thing, a very fun way to experience this track, and just another great aspect of this weekend.
Race leaders out of turn number 17 that time, and Peter Essef finally finding his rhythm as he puts himself back up on the top step of the podium with 21 SE, Euclid and Kautsky right there behind him. So Pete and Lenser, or rather Essef and Lenser, start to really turn it up. They're going to run into or encounter some lap traffic on this next lap, I'm going to say. If not that lap, then probably the next lap. But everybody's sitting halfway, so whatever happens in this race, it would be considered complete as the rig of 64B, Wilmeroth and Richards holding on to that 3rd place position with Joyce and Schulke back there in 4th, and Dukas rounding out your top 5 as they cross the start-finish line.
Yeah, there's a really good chance of this lap. The really fast modern sidecars starting to run into some of the more antique sidecars. Not literally run into, but catch them in traffic. The minute I said, I was like, that's not the right way to say that. Catch them in traffic is a very good chance of that happening here in short order.
Got a good crowd over there on the hill for the fan zone.
Oh yeah, always. The crowds have been great here the past handful of days. Huge, I mean, just really, really crowded, very busy, lots of positive vibes. We had a chance to talk to Nate Kern on the program yesterday. He was commenting on how just great it feels to be here this year in particular.
Looks like race leader SF and Lenzer picking their way through some of the other rigs out there as they work their way around them over through turns 13, 14, and 15, waiting for them to come back around on this next lap as the laps continue to dwindle here in race number 5, the sidecar race. While we got a moment, I want to say please be sure to visit the Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum. They have extended hours today until 5 p.m. and you've got to get upstairs and see on the 5th floor that new Advanced Design Center up there. It's great. Plus, this weekend is only one of 3 times that they open the restoration level to the public. So make sure you plan a little bit of time to get over and check out the Vintage Museum this weekend.
Yeah, the Design Center. I think my friend Ren, who's here from Dancing Goats Coffee, is serving up delicious coffee up there too.
Cool.
Super nice, like micro roasted and really yummy. So just another perk to the Design Center this weekend.
That's right. Also want to put out there that if you're not a Barber Museum member yet, you might want to consider it. There's lots of great perks that include special member-only events and even the opportunity to ride in a Porsche around the track. And don't forget, the Barber Museum members have access to the pedestrian bridges this weekend too. For more information, it's available over at the museum and at the swap meet at the Barber Merchandise Trailer. Also, while you're there, you can stop in, check out the museum store or the merchandise trailer over the swap meet area. They can fill all of your track and museum sportswear and souvenir needs. They have this year's official Vintage Festival merchandise in stock, but it goes fast. So make sure if you want to do anything to get your official Vintage Festival merchandise, you do it quickly.
Too wide going into Charlotte's Web. That took some steely nerves right there.
Yep.
Kohler and Blake just crossing start finish a moment ago, followed by May and Chala.
Starter has white flag in hound, waiting for next rider. Bike should be 14 SC. Peter Esseth and Lensers. They were leading this one, working their way through the back section of the course right now, waiting for him to come on to the front straightaway. That beautiful white rig. As here they come down the front straightaway. Kind of mired a little bit there in traffic, but not having too much of an issue with it as they rocket past the field. Then it's going to be SC 21 or 21 SC, Euclid and Kautsky. So SF and Lester see the white flag starting their last lap as they pick their way through traffic. Euclid and Kautsky's checking out the white flag as they start their last lap. Then it's going to be Wilmoth and Richards. They're running third in class. With the white flag out on this one, let's go first call. First call for race number 6. Next Gen Superbike 2, Battle of the Twins 1, and Sound of Singles 1. You folks are up here in just a moment. It's first call. First call for race number 6. Next Gen Superbike 2, Battle of the Twins 1, and Sound of Singles 1. Again, first call for race number 6.
Race leader going through Charlotte's Web right now and heading back up the hill towards the museum. Dukas and Dukas just now crossing start finish.
Where's my race leader?
Over by the museum.
Oh, okay, they're way over there. Race leader, the team is at bike number 1, SF and Lenser, over through the museum turns, waiting for them to come back up. Here they come through turns 10, 11, over into 12. Looks like they got a substantial lead as bike number 21, SC, Bernard Euclid and Kautsky now into view on that modern sleek rig as they work their way up through 12, over to 13 with Lenser and SF working their way back over the crest of the hills through the roller coaster section back in 14 and 15, waiting for it to come on in the front straightaway here in just a moment. Here they come, race leaders, bike number 14 SC, SF and Lenser taking the unofficial win out there. Checkered flag waves for them as they take the unofficial win on this one. Then it's going to be bike number 21 SC, Bernard Euclid and Kautsky is the passenger. That's your top 2 as they take the checkered flag themselves. Let's go second call. Let's go second call for race number 6, Next Gen Superbike 2. Battle of the Twins 1 and Sound of Singles 1. You folks will be up here in just a moment. It is second call, race number 6. Next Gen Superbike 2, Battle of Twins 1 and Sound of Singles 1. Second call, race number 6. Announced to control.
Mark Gingrich, thanks for tuning in. Byron Cox, thanks for watching. Richard Mitchley, hey, thanks for watching, buddy. Jim Jackett, Sherry Miller Hargis, thanks for tuning in. Matt Rice says, go Dixon Corn.
They did. They went real good. They ended up
go.
7th or 9th overall.
They did go. Stasser Steve Monica says, go Tim Joyce. That's right, Timmy.
I think they ended up 2nd in class, but I can't quite tell.
May and Chala just not crossing start finish. Is it me or does Rammer and Rammer sound like a law firm? Rammer and Rammer, sidecar attorneys at law.
Maybe they work for Law Tigers? I don't know.
Alrighty, all jokes aside, let's go ahead and start changing out these graphics. It is going to take just one hot second. It looks like a sidecar ran wide, probably had a mechanical. So we're going to go, yeah, I can see them, they're fine.
Yeah.
We're just got to go pick them up, however, and I think that involves a tow strap and a truck.
It does, yeah, it does.
So it takes a tiny second longer than just picking up a two-wheel bike, so it's going to take just a moment. So in the meanwhile, are you going to start pulling some grids? Okay, so let's go ahead and...
Want to put out there while we're clearing the track on this one that at Geico, great coverage doesn't stop with your car. Whether you have a sport bike, a cruiser, a moped, touring bike, standard antique, or custom ride, Geico can help you insure it. Plus, if you have Geico Auto Policy, you can bundle it with your bike on it and save even more. Visit geico.com for your free, no-obligation motorcycle insurance quote to see how much you can save. Geico, great rates for great rides. I'll put that one out there.
And this is Battle of the Twins. This is Battle of the Twins, the big class, the open class, so this will be real rowdy. And Sound of Singles 1, which is also the fast singles class.
Also want to let everybody know over in the fan zone, you've got the Globe of Death over there. The Urias family is proud to be performing in the original globe that was built by their great-grandfather almost 100 years ago. The Daredevil stunts are performed within the confines of this 16-foot diameter steel sphere. Some showtimes are going to be taking place throughout the weekend, so work your way on down towards the end of the fan zone. Check that out. Also down there is the Wall of Death. America Motordrome's Wall of Death is a vintage live-action thrill show featuring a 30-foot diameter silo-shaped wooden cylinder known as a Motordrome. Inside the Motordrome, Daredevils travel along the vertical wall performing trick, fancy, and acrobatic riding. Sometimes, or showtimes rather, will take place throughout the weekend too. So I encourage everybody to go down there and check out the Wall of Death and the Globe of Death. Those are always fan favorites down there, and it's amazing how well those riders manage to move around inside there. Also want to say hi to Law Tigers. What's the first call you should make after a motorcycle accident? 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. They are motorcycle lawyers who will get you the help you need because your insurance company's goal is to pay you as little as possible. Flo doesn't know V-Twins like the Law Tigers. Your case evaluation is free, and Law Tigers doesn't get paid until you get paid. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com on the web. The Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers. Guy over there. So
Alrighty, so it's going to take just 1 second. Jay just pointed out that they have not picked up that sidecar yet, so they're still working on that. So I figured let's go ahead and check out this awesome onboard camera video from one of our members, Eric Watts. Thanks for filming this for me. That way you can experience Barber for yourself. Right now they are just now crossing start finish on this video screen. This is all the time on the left-hand side. So right now we're headed towards turn 1, and you can see the map up on the top right of your screen. And how cool is that, right? If that doesn't get you pumped up about this vintage racing, vintage and modern racing going on here at Barber, I don't know what will. But we're heading into our next race, so let's go ahead trackside.
Third, they're still trying to announce to start or to a.
All right, we've got our first couple of machines. I can hear some bikes running, but they're not making their way to the grid quite yet. So I'll tell you what, let's go back over and check out the schedule, because I have had a lot of people ask. Let's go ahead and look at the schedule real fast. That way you can see what races are still going on. We're heading into race 6 right now. We have 17 races today. We will be taking a lunch break after this race for about an hour, and then we'll be coming back. So make sure, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you turn the notifications on, hit that bell, and we will let you know when we come back for the second part of today's race program.
As the riders take to the track here for race number 6, here's how they're going to grid up. For the Next Gen Superbike 2, presented by LM2 Experience and SPDA Action Travels, row number 1's bike number 14, Brian Larabur. Bike number 020, Jeff Nelson. 784, Christopher Kaiden. Bike number 1Y, Jim Parker. Row number 2, it's bike number 68, Arkwright Grantham. 60, Eric Burrell. And 29, J. Scott Rothermel. Row number 3 at 60M, Mark Barone. 021, Eric Bozell. And 898, Jared Sadaka. Then 326, John Castle. For row number 4, it's 57A, Robert Schavel. 48J, James Brown. And 69, Ben Barker. For row number 5, it's 198, Dylan Connor. 61, Paul Germain. 640, Jay Letts. And 477, Akaiden rather. Row number 4, it's Anthony Mann, who came up and talked to us earlier today, and then bike number 12X, Ricky Orlando. For the Battle of the Twins 1, presented by Fast by Faraci on row number 8, it's 03, Jesse Davis, 553, Paul Canali, 15X, Tony Prust, and bike number 46, Bob Robbins. Row number 9, it's 42A, Mark 10, 576, Christian Jensen, and 19, Nate Kern. Row number 10, it's 37X, Stefano Mesa. At 181, Randy Tullinger, 901, Sean Beeson, 15R, JM Padron. For the Sound of Singles 1, presented by William Dokianos, back on row number 12, it's 1F, Kevin Grimmel, 184, Troy Hogg, 275, Mike Robinson Jr., and M53, Mike Robinson. Row number 13, it's 729, Jonathan Costello, 57, Kevin Brown, 19T, Paul Tuckley, and on row number 14, it's 647, John Waberka. That's your field here for race number 6.
Yeah, Anthony Ban joined us earlier at the beginning of the show to chat with us just for a minute. Anthony Ban is here all the way from Australia, which is awesome, but not totally uncommon. We do have some international racers that love to come over and race with us, because we do race some pretty iconic and magnificent tracks here with AHRMA. So if you'd love to come racing with us, which you should, have some of this fun and excitement, experience these awesome tracks for yourself, make your way over to ahrma.org for more information.
For the Next Gen Superbikes, these guys are sponsored by SPD Action Travel and LM2 Experiences. SPD Action Travel and LM2 Experiences offer travel packages created to provide low-stress, high-reward trips to those that love motorsports. Whether your passion is on 2 wheels or 4, they give you the opportunity to turn laps in some of the world's most incredible racetracks, as well as experience the local nature, culture, and history of these regions. Talk to them today to start checking things off your bucket list. The class itself was started in 2017 and features early 90s to early 2000 production machines taken from the showroom floor and modified into race bikes. Twin-cylinder bikes up to 1,000 cc's from Aprilia and Ducati are represented out there. 4-cylinder bikes are 750cc models from Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Yamaha. This is the era when riders like Doug Chandler, Ben Bostrom, and Matt Mladen were the U.S. champions. For the Battle of the Twins 1, this is for 900cc up bikes. These are sponsored by Fast by Faraci. The Battle of the Twins is presented by Fast by Faraci Racing Products. The legendary 2-time Ducati World Superbike and 2-time AMA Superbike Championship winning team brings you the same passion it took to win in its current range of products, offering the highest quality race-proven performance parts and products to enthusiasts worldwide for over 40 years. When you order from Faraci.com, you know it's personally backed by Araldo Faraci himself. Be sure and keep an eye on Ducati's return to Moto America for 2021 and their Superbike program with Araldo Faraci as the team manager. Visit Faraci.com as the green flag waves here for the first wave. The next gen Superbikes take off down towards turn number 1. Looking back for the Battle of the Twins 1, waiting for them to get going here in just a moment, as they're cleanly away along with the sound of singles field. For the Battle of the Twins 1, this is open to all air-cooled 905cc and up motorcycles. The air-cooled bikes have become obsoleted by newer technology, remain a favorite of builders, racers, and fans alike, and AHRMA has made a home for them to race at. On the track, you'll see Ducatis, Moto Guzzi's, and Buells. For the Sound of Singles 1, this is sponsored by William P. Dokianos. William Dokianos would like to thank AHRMA staff and volunteers for all of their hard work. The Sound of Singles 1 is unlimited displacement, single-cylinder, 4 strokes. Modern singles with an anything-go attitude is out there. This platform is where ingenuity and engineering shine as the field working their way over through the museum turns up front for the next gen Superbike. We'll get the full running order for you when they complete lap number 1 here in just a moment.
All right, Race Leaders is already cruising on around the backside of this track, going around those last handful of turns before this big front straight. So let's go ahead and track them down. There we go.
We got a bike over in the middle of the track on 12.
Oh, well.
13. It's over there at 13. No, I can see it from here.
So the red flag is out. Unfortunately, a bike.
It's over there at 13.
There's a bike that went down over towards the last handful of turns.
Looks like the rider's sitting up.
Rider looks okay. We do have a security camera, but I can't show you that footage. But the rider's sitting up, they're fine. But the bike is just in a very unfortunate location, right on the edge of the track. So we're gonna have to go ahead and red flag this, that way we can move that safely out of the way. And I'm guessing we will regrid this.
Yeah, he's up.
He's up, he's fine.
Had our first Crimson adventure of the day. One rider not quite negotiating turn 13 over there. Bike and rider ended up in the track, but it looks like both the bike is up and the rider's up, moving off to the track. So they've got it moved over. So we're going to, hopefully this will be a quick turnaround and we can get folks back out there. Stand by.
All right, so we're gonna wait for a little bit of race direction to find out if they're going to regrid everybody. I'm guessing so, because it looks like they're going to get that moved pretty fast.
As we're coming up on our lunch hour break here, want to remind everybody to head over to Rusty's Barbecue, where their meats are slow smoked over hickory and hand pulled so that every bite is tender and flavorful. Their menu features a wide selection of everything from barbecue sandwiches and kids' meals to plates of their famous ribs, pulled pork, and chicken. Or you can go ahead and order ahead online at rustysbarbecue.com. Plus, they've got a bunch of concession stands available over there if you're hungry and thirsty in the fan zone. They have a wide variety of things to eat in the fan zone, the paddock, lot C, and the upper and lower swap meet area. So we're coming up on lunch break here in just a moment. Make sure you get yourself over there early to get yourself something to eat. I don't know what they're doing. They haven't told me if they're going to hold them or get it going. Obviously, the rider's up.
Hey, Peter Booth, I didn't catch who slid out on that track, but they're up and moving. They're fine.
Attention out there in the paddock. We get race number 6 restarted here in just a moment. It shouldn't take us too long. We're getting the bike loaded up right now. It will be a 7-lap restart when you guys come back out. Again, a 7-lap restart when we get race number 6 going here in just a moment. Shouldn't be too much longer here. Again, 7-lap restart when we get things cleaned up and get going again. Excuse me. Boy, these guys are always so efficient out there.
Yeah, huge thanks to all the workers and volunteers here at the Barber Motorsports Park. The teams here are just fantastic, super efficient. They get everything
Attention
done.
out there in the paddock. Any of the racers that might have gone back to their paddocks for race number 6, we need you back up here immediately. We're getting ready to go green with this thing again and send you out for another hot lap. Again, riders for race number 6, if you're not on the grid and down in the hot pit right now, you need to get back down there immediately. We're getting ready to fire this thing back up. We've got the situation addressed out there in turn 13. Again, racers for race number 6, if you went back to the paddock, get yourselves back up here to the hot grid as quickly as possible. We're getting ready to send you guys out for another hot lap right now.
Yeah, everybody here at this facility is just really top notch. It's a really premium, very special spot here in the United States. This event, I absolutely would put up with any vintage themed motorcycling event globally. It's just a spectacular weekend out here. Alright, so we're starting to, I saw somebody walking out there too. So we're starting to go ahead and have folks, have these racers make their way back out where we are going to re-grid them, and we're going to do this all over again for 7 laps.
As the riders take to the track for their warm-up lap, they're going to get back in the same grid position. So for the Next Gen Superbike 2, sponsored by LM2 and SPD Action Travels on row number 1, it's bike number 14, Brian Laraber. 020, Jeff Nelson. 784, Christopher Akiden, and 1Y, Jim Barker. Row number 2 at 68R, Craig Grantham. 60, Eric Burrell, and bike number 29J, Scott Rothmel. Row number 3 at 67M, Mark Perone. 021, Eric Bozell. 898, Jared Sadaka. 326, Sean Castle. Row number 4 is 57A, Robert Shallow. 48, J. James Brown, and 68, Ben Baker. Row number 5, it's 198, Dylan Connor. 61, Paul Germain. 640, Jay Letts, and bike number 477, Ahmet Akiden. Then row number 6, it's bike number 4, Anthony Ban, and bike number 12, X, Ricky Orlando for the 900, for the Battle of the Twins 1. 900cc and open. This is presented by Fast by Ferracci. Row number 8, it's 03 Jesse Davis, 553 Paul Canale, 15X Tony Prost, and 46 Bob Robbins. Row number 9, it's 22A Mark 10 and 576 Christian Jensen with bike number 19 Nate Kern. Row number 10, it's bike number 37X Stefano Mesa, 181 Randy Sellinger, 901 Sean Beats, and 15R JM Padron. Then for the Sound of Singles 1, presented by William Dokianos. Back on row number 12, it is bike number 1F Kevin Grimmel, 184 Troy Hogg, 275 Mike Robinson Jr., and M53 Mike Robinson. Row number 13 at 729, Jonathan Costello, 57 Kevin Brown, and bike number 19T Paul Tuckley. And rounding out your field on row number 14 at 647, John Waverka. That is your field here for race number 6. We'll bring it back again for a 7-lap race here in race number 6 as the participants file on to the starting grid right now. It's already 10:37.
All right, so those of you following along on the live stream, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. We are going to be going to lunch after this race. At lunch, we take a break for about 50 minutes, hour is our break, and the live feed will be down. So make sure you come back after the lunch break to resume our afternoon racing program. We still have plenty of awesome racing coming your way. Some big classes, some more modern classes. It's just really, really cool stuff going on this afternoon. We'll be streaming all afternoon long, so make sure you go ahead and come on back, hit those notifications on. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, let's go trackside. Larry Coleman, welcome to the show.
Green flag waves once again as it looks like 784 Christopher Caden gets a great jump leading the field down into turn number 1 with bike number 14, I believe Brian Laraber right there behind him as the Next Gen Superbike 2 work their way through turn number 1, waiting for Battle of the Twins 1 and Sound of Singles 1 go as there goes the green flag for them as it looks like bike number 553 Paul Canale once again gets a great jump for Battle of the Twins 2. Up front, though, down in through turn number 5 over to Charlotte's Web. I believe it is Christopher Caden and bike number 14, Brian Lehrer, running that second place position as everybody's starting to spread out single file. We'll confirm the full running order for you here in just a moment when they come around to complete lap number 1 as the Next Gen Superbikes 2 successfully navigate through Charlotte's Web. Meanwhile, 5 riders now trying to pile in to the braking zone for Charlotte's Web as one bike smoking pretty good there on the outside. Not sure if that's a 2-stroke or if that is
that's an
4-stroke that's got a little bit of a problem going on there. Looks like the smoke's cleared out, but boy, he gave a pretty good puff there at the exit of Charlotte's Web. So we'll see if something might have got against the tire. Who knows what's going on with that bike as race leaders for the Next Gen Superbike 2 out of that backstretch all the way over through turns 13, 14, and 15 on this first lap of a 7-lap abbreviated race.
Race leaders at the very top of your screen right now. They are making their way through the backside of the track before this front straight. Let's go wait for them in this last turn. And here we go. Race leaders are now making their way to the front straight.
Race leaders out onto the front straight as they rocket down this front straight at the line. It is going to be Christopher Caden out there. It's Eric Burrell. No, I'm sorry, 29J, Scott Rothamel back there in second place. Then 14, Brian Lehrer. He's out there. Then 68R, Craig Grantham in that 4th position. And 020, Jeff Nelson rounding out your top 5. As looks like 121 is our smoking bike, and they are going to be bringing him in to take a look at that. I'm sorry, 181, Randy Sullinger, he's our smoking rider out there. They're going to bring him in to take a quick look at that bike as Christopher Caden on 784 shows Rothamel, Lair Brewer, and Craig Grantham the fast way around this track as he leads the field up over the crest of the hill through turn number 7, down that back straightaway one more time.
As always, here on the program, I can only show you the top 10 finishers of any classes. For more detailed information, you can head over to race-monitor.com.
Going on through the field, 020, Jeff Nelson back there in 5th, 12X by Ricky Orlando's back in 6th, 326, Sean Castle in 7th, bike number 67 in, Mark Perone in 8th, 198, Dylan Connor back there in 9th, and bike number 4, Anthony Band, rounding out your top 10 at 784, Christopher Caden. Out there leading this one with Rothamel and Lehrer right there behind him.
Somebody from Sound of Singles got pretty wide in that 5 deep trying to go back into Charlotte's Web again. And race leader is going to be down here in this last turn in just a second. That should be Christopher Akaiden.
Race leader, bike number 784, Christopher Akaiden, out of turn number 17 one more time. He has, I believe, Rothamel and Lehrer right there behind him. That's 2nd and 3rd, and 68R, Craig Grantham in that 4th, and bike number 12, Ricky Orlando moving up a position to round out the top 5. 020, Jeff Nelson back there in 6th. 326, Sean Castle still back at 767 in, Mark Perona 8. Bike number 4, Anthony Van, Tony Van moving up a position at 9th, and 198, Dylan Connor sliding back a position to still round out your top 10. As it looks like Grantham setting his sights trying to reel in Brian Lehrer. So the, the president of the organization trying to reel in the chairman of the board of the organization? Those guys are duking it out for 3rd out there. Lehrer being the chairman of the board, and I think Greg Grantham holding on, I think it's the president's position is what the director or the president, I'm not sure. I see his face on the 3rd page of the AHRMA magazine every month, but he's out there running 4th position, trying to put himself up on the podium as bike number 784, Christopher Akaiden, showing the fast way around for the rest of the field, working his way through the back section now as we got a yellow flag waving down there in for Charlotte's Web. Looks like one rider got a little bit wide over off of the track. Oh, we got a couple of bikes together over there. Not good. Over in Charlotte's Web. Right here.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, that's fine. All right, are we...
Oh, and there's a piece of debris in the middle of the track, too.
Oh, there is. All right, so we got a couple yellow flags out, and I don't know if we're going to go to red. Yep, we're going to go to red.
Yep, we went red. There's a piece of debris in the middle of the track.
So red flags are going to come out, or are out.
Attention out in the paddock. We are having our second Crimson adventure of this one. We are having to stop this one and send the riders back to the paddock for this one while it takes us a bit of a moment to address the situation over there in Charlotte's Web. Again, Another Crimson adventure on this race, and we will be sending the riders back over to the paddock right now. Not sure. Hopefully we can. Hang on. Stand by. Okay, word coming in that we are close enough to our 11 o'clock lunch hour. We do have a quiet time here at this track from 11 o'clock until noon, so we're close enough. It's going to take us enough time to get this cleaned up. Race number 6, we're going to send you guys back to the paddock. After lunch, we're going to do the Vintage Superbike Heavyweight Vintage Cup. We will do that after lunch. Then we will bring race number 6 back out for you guys to conclude your race. Again, we are sending race number 6, we're sending you over to the paddock. We're going to do our lunch break. After lunch break, we're going to do the Super Heavyweight Vintage Cup, the Vintage Superbike Heavyweight Vintage Cup, just like the schedule says. Then we'll bring back race number 6. We'll bring race number 6 back up for you guys to complete your race. And then we'll go on through the rest of the program through race 7, 8, 9, and on and through that one. So that's how it's going to work. We're officially at lunch break now. Race 6 riders, go back to your paddock. We're officially at lunch. After lunch, Vintage Superbike Heavyweight Vintage Cup will be up after lunch, just like the schedule. Then we'll bring race 6 back up so you guys can complete your race. Then we'll go 7 down through the rest of turn number 16. I hope that.
All right, so we are gonna have to sort this out because a couple of parts came off these bikes, and that's incredibly dangerous to race on. So we're gonna be cleaning this up. As you can see on your screen right now, all of the crews are there. They're helping everybody up. I'm looking over on the security camera. I see some racers standing up, so I think everybody's okay over there, but I think the bikes did a little bit of a yard sale, so they're gonna have to pick those up and get them cleaned up. As you just heard Jay announce, however, we are just gonna go ahead and put a pin in this race number 6 and just fast forward to our lunch program. When we come back in approximately 1 hour, we're going to be going right into the Vintage Cup race. And then race,
Junior.
then
Okay,
race
yeah, I heard it, but I
number
forgot
6.
he needs
And
me
then
to put
we'll
it out.
continue on with the rest of our program.
Junior.
So that is what is happening. So thank you for tuning in for our
Attention
morning
out there to
show.
the paddock.
We will be back
Rider number
after lunch.
275.